Hello, hello, welcome. Welcome, welcome. All right, Pope Leo 14th. How about we speak a little bit about his language abilities? Ooh, that could be fun. Let's go. Let's go, let's go. So I have a few ideas for today. We're gonna see how many languages he speaks. In fact, let me open it on a Google document and let me see how many languages does Pope Leo 14th speak. Hello, number ones. Welcome, welcome. Okay, so we got some information here. We got some information. So right off the bat, let me just share my screen very quickly. This is the question today. I'm just jumping right into it. We're talking about this gentleman here. And we're told, if we Google, how many languages does Pope Leo the 14th speak? But let's capitalize it. All right, great. And then we get, in addition to his native language of English, because of course he's the American Pope, as my dad noted the other day when we went on the phone. Leo speaks Spanish, Italian, French, Portuguese, along with some German. He can also read Latin. So here it doesn't claim that he speaks Latin, but of course he can read it. And today we're going to check that, in fact. New Pope seems nice, Mr. Bruff? Yeah, I mean, he seems nice, you're right, yeah. Why are they all named Leo? They're not. I mean, yeah, 14 popes before him, 13 popes before him, I suppose. But I mean, there's so many different names. I think in this case, Leo means lion. There is, of course, always a little bit of a biblical connection to it. And generally, when the pope chooses a name, it's not just a name, but it's also because he wants to express the sort of papacy that he's wishing or hoping to provide and bring into the church. So that's one of the things that kind of leads. That's why, like, Pope Francis was using the name Francis, which is, of course, Saint Francis, you know, that kind of stuff. Hey, Bane. So anyways, that's what we're talking about. Hello, I'm shocked he hasn't spoken officially in English as it's his first language. He did. He absolutely did, James. In his very first, we'll see it today. In fact, I got it open here. So today we're going to check Pope Leo 14th. I'll read it Leo because it's English. I'm speaking English, but like in Latin, it would be Leo, just so you know. Pope Leo the 14th, formerly whatever, Prevost, okay, Cardinal Prevost, appears and delivers his first address. And in this one, he speaks Italian because, I mean, he's in Rome. So, of course, he's speaking Italian to all the people here. They're not just Italian, but clearly there is a big majority of Italians here. So in Rome, he's speaking Italian, and we'll see how he does. We'll check his pronunciation. We'll check his pace, his intonation. Although I do have to underline one thing. Man, we haven't spoken about languages on this channel in a while. Today is going to be a little bit of a treat. But one thing I do have to underline is that when you speak about intonation, you have to consider the context in which anything is said. Because in liturgy and in ecclesiastical context, they have a specific ecclesiastical intonation. You'll notice it. It's like when they say, "May the Lord bless all of us." Like, they have this intonation that is not found in any natural language, but it's typical to the liturgy of the church. So I'm expecting him to use that, but I don't know if he's only going to use it in Latin or if he's going to use it also when he speaks Italian, maybe even English. We'll have to see. Derek says, "I'm not Catholic. I don't even understand why Latin would be a requirement." Well, it is the official language of the Holy See, and just to remind you, Derek, that the Vatican is also its own country. So the Pope is not just the leader of the Catholic Church, but he's also the monarch, the absolute monarch of the state of the Vatican, which has its own diplomacy, and once again, Latin being one of their official languages. So there's that. Plus, there is the tradition behind it. Now, given, like, when my mom was young and she would go to church in Italy, the mass would be in Latin. Luckily, they stopped doing that because, I mean, I love Latin. I think it sounds great. But then again, it would be nice if the faithful could understand what the preacher is preaching about, or like they could understand the verses in the gospel. I think that was an improvement. And so they switched to Italian. When I was going to church as a child, it was already in Italian. So there was a shift, at least in Italy, from Mass in Latin to Mass in the local language that the congregation speaks. And that's the same for reading the scripture. So linguistically, there was a shift, and I think it was a good thing. I think the reason why Latin is so imprinted in the church is because at the end of the day, it is a language of authority, and it's a connection with Rome. Personally, I think that's that. Latin is a powerful language. But anyways, yeah, he spoke English. I know he spoke Italian. He speaks Italian here. That's his main thing. He does speak English at one point. He speaks Spanish here as well. And then I think, if I'm not wrong, towards the end he does, yeah, this one, the benediction is entirely in Latin. So of course it's going to be ecclesiastical Latin, but it'd be funny. Sometimes the purists of classical Latin get so mad. Like, what I made a couple of videos when I use classical Latin, as you know, because I read classical literature. I speak about Roman names, ancient Rome. So of course I'll use classical or restored pronunciation, which is pretty much how the Romans spoke, as opposed to how we speak or read Latin in the Italianate pronunciation, which is ecclesiastical. But what's interesting is that in ancient Rome, they pronounce that way. So if I'm reading something linked to ancient Rome, I'll use classical. But then some of my subscribers years ago, some of you, maybe you're even here, you asked me, hey, Metatron, could you teach us how to Pater Noster? So, how do you say it in English? The prayer, the famous prayer, my Father, Holy Father, Pater Noster, our Father, our Father who art in heaven. Like, could you teach that in Latin? So I did, but of course I'm using ecclesiastical pronunciation. Man, people got mad in the comments, not you. But some people were like, what are you doing? That's the Lord's Prayer. Thank you, star. Wind. And people were mad because they're like, don't you know that the V's pronounced like a U? And I'm like, in classical, you muppet. But this is, I mean, if you don't use ecclesiastical Latin with Catholic prayers, when the heck are you going to use it? So I'm expecting, of course, him to use completely ecclesiastical pronunciation. So that's going to be interesting for a change. And yeah, so he used 4 languages during this. 4. So isn't that cool? Like, I appreciate like, hearing different languages, because you know me. Mechel says, loved him switching Spanish. Yeah, I thought it was nice he did that. Yeah, sure. Hello, St. Nicholas. Good to have you here again. Mr. Bra, the new Pope seems nice. I've already read that. From Finland. Hey, very cool, Matty. Thank you for being here. Hello everyone. So let's see how we do. We're gonna jump into this very quickly because I don't want to I usually take forever to get to the point. But before we do that, let me check the stats for a moment. Okay, everything seems to be good. Good stuff. Yeah, you're rather curious how Pater Noster would sound in classical. We can review that together, Prince. It's not a problem. We can check it out. In fact, I might even make a dedicated video. You know what? I'll make a dedicated video for you. On my second channel, Metatron's Academy, the one where I do all the linguistic stuff, and I will read the Pater Noster first in ecclesiastical, and then I'll re-record it in classical, and we will have all the prayer on screen, so that you can hear the two versions. I think that could be a cool video to make for the second. Thank you for the idea, by the way. It's pretty good. Nihon, someone says in chat in Japanese. David. The Pope is from the United States of America. Yes, he is, Dennis. That's why I'm kind of curious to hear him speak Italian. I'm really curious to see if he has like a typical American accent, if he's like buongiorno, or if he instead speaks it well, since he also speaks Spanish. Maybe he has a does he have a Peruvian accent? Like, I don't know. And I'm curious. Would the Queen of England go against Christianity teaching, being as she's the head of the church and a woman? I mean, in the Anglican context, I guess not, but the Anglican context is so different, particularly these days, from more traditional Christianity, if you will, that, I mean, at the end of the day, they can do whatever they want, right? It's a separate thing at this point, I suppose. I'm not exactly the best one to say anything. The only thing that I have a problem with when it comes to that is that, to me, I don't know. I wish that a spiritual leader was someone that did that, spiritual things, whereas a monarch being a spiritual leader, but then again, he is a monarch. So there is that. I guess it's not that different, is it? Habemus Papam. Yes, we have. Hey, Matty, thank you for your donation. Rehash underground cities. Those are built now called bomb shelters. Could the equivalent been made before the disaster story about Noah is based off? No, I don't think you could. That's kind of the anti-bomb shelters are a modern invention. So I don't think I guess you would if it's in ancient times and Bronze Age, just find a cave, That's how I would see it personally. So yeah, the queen is dead. That's what they want you to believe. Andrea Mel says, he writes in Italian, I've seen a video from a colleague of yours and he laughs while he speaks Latin. I think he doesn't speak well, game over. No, I think you're talking about Luke Ranieri. I don't think he laughs at the Pope. I think he laughs at the translator because the translator couldn't translate from Latin. I think that's what I don't think he's laughing at the Pope. Plus, I know Luke too well. We could even have a look at how he did it in a little bit, but I think he told me about it. He was laughing about because we speak in the background here. I think he was laughing at the translator. I'm not a practicing Catholic, no, not anymore. DMC. I was brought up Roman Catholic, but not really. No. I saw that video. That's what happened. There we go. So I was right, Fami. Okay, that's what it is. Yeah, it just looked Ranieri such a polite individual. There is no way he's gonna laugh at the Pope, but he will laugh at the translator if the translator doesn't do anything. Yeah, the translator gave up, didn't he? I mean, at the end of the day, just because you're the translator who's translating from Italian, and then, I mean, I guess, didn't they get like a plan? Because I used to be a simultaneous interpreter. I did this for a job for a while, and you get plans, so you know. Didn't they know that he was going to give the benediction in Latin? Is that, I don't know. But yeah. I know it's polymathy. Luke Ranieri, that's polymathy, I'm aware. I know him very well. We're good friends. Yeah, he's laughing at the translator. That's what I thought. Yeah. I mean, poor translator. You're tasked to translate from Italian, and then you're like, yeah, he's speaking Latin. What do I do? Because translators have a button, by the way, that removes you from being on air. So, like, when you're doing simultaneous translation, once again, something I did, just as always on this channel, we provide information like that. That there is a button. Like, imagine you need to cough or you need to sneeze. You push the button, right? So I can already imagine, because there are moments of silence, Luke told me, and so I can already imagine that he pushed the button, being someone who was on the other side. He pushed the button and probably is like, guys, he's speaking Latin. What do I do? I haven't got a clue what he's saying. And probably that's why we get a pause, right? And then probably in that cubicle section, for us it was a room, but for some people it's a cubicle. I can imagine his colleague is like, I don't know, try to do something, and then he pushed the button again. I think that's what happened. I just think that's what happened, guys. Yeah, that's what I think. Luke should have been the translator, 100%. Luke would have killed it, 100%. Or me, yeah, sure. I mean, the kind of Latin he's using is not particularly difficult because it's not like they're going to speak about tax returns in Latin during a benediction. So clearly, as long as you're familiar with the Virgin Mary and the blessings of Paul and Peter, I mean, that's pretty much what it is. But yeah, did you ever have a Sega channel? A Sega channel? No. No, not I do have a gaming channel, but not one dedicated to Sega. No. So it is formulaic, but like if you know what they're talking about, one thing I used to do in Japan, and then we jump onto this, by the way. But one thing I used to do in Japan was I used to go to several churches, and I was translating. That's one thing I did. Like I would literally, I've done it with several congregations, by the way. I would just stand right next to the preacher, the pastor, the priest, depending on the congregation, and then the preacher would read the Bible or give the message, and I would translate it. So then that was in Japanese. I translated it in Japanese. I did that a few times. So I am familiar with as long as you know, I want to say for these kind of situations and speeches, as long as you know 50 to 80 church dedicated words, usually you're good. If you're already fluent in the language, all you need to do an upgrade between 50 to 100. That is, unless it's like a sermon that is super deep on biblical stuff. But unless it's that, like we go into the Old Testament, then yeah, you got to learn a few other things. But in general, if they're like, God loves all of you, that kind of stuff, 50 to 100 ecclesiastical words, and you can translate if you're already competent. In my experience. Boa tarde. Boa tarde. Boa tarde. I don't know. Boa tarde. I think that's Portuguese, right? Did you have long hair back then? No, my hair was kind of medium, I think, when I was in Japan. Yeah, evening, Baron. Good to have you here. All right, guys. So, how about we jump right into it? Good evening, Aris. And a very nice explanation. My pleasure. If you have any questions, by the way, when it comes to translating this kind of situation, do ask me. Do tell me. Because it's not that I know it all, but I have direct professional experience before becoming a YouTuber. I used to do this a lot, simultaneous translation. I had a nickname. They called me the machine gun. That's what they called me. It was my nickname. I might even show you a picture back in the day. But anyways, without further ado, let's jump right into it. Let's get this. Let's listen. I'm not going to listen to the whole thing. Like, don't worry. That's not what's going to happen. What I'm going to do is that we are going to skip all the applauses that they always, because I know exactly how this goes. They're going to applause for, they're going to do, yeah. Let's see what he does at the beginning. Let's go. You ready? Machine gun Metatron, let's go.
La pace sia con tutti voi.
That was actually pretty good. So he said, may peace be with all of you. And now there's going to be 15 minutes of applauses. Yeah, look at all the applause. I just know it. Okay, la pace sia con tutti voi. Yeah, that was pretty good. Let's go. Guy's really happy. Look at that.
Fratelli, sorelle carissimi.
Dear brothers and sisters.
Questo è il primo saluto del Cristo risorto.
This is the first salutation from the resurrected Christ. Yeah, I understand him very well. And you know what's interesting? He has an accent. I can already detect an accent. But I'm not sure I would like his trilled R's are really authentic. That must be because he knows Spanish. It's actually pretty good. I'm not going to translate everything. Let me listen to it a little more, and then I'll go back and translate it for you a little bit. But let me listen to it a little more.
Il buon pastore che ha dato la vita per il gregge di Dio. Anch'io vorrei che questo saluto di pace entrasse nel vostro cuore, raggiungesse le vostre famiglie, a tutte le persone.
Yes, so he clearly has a foreign accent, but it's not too strong. So if someone right now is reading, but if someone told me he speaks Italian fluently, I would believe it right now, because his Italian is actually good. It's good. That's good Italian right there. He doesn't speak English, you say, Diane. No, I think he does. Yeah. If you told me this was Spanish, I would believe it. No, it sounds, it's Italian. But he has an accent. We can try and identify it. I can be over-analytical about that. I can tell you exactly what it is that sounds foreign to me. We might do this on a second analysis. But now I just want to say he has an accent. I can immediately tell he's not native, but it's pretty good. He pronounces it fine. So he pronounces it as someone who has had definitely experience with Italian. And so that was interesting. So let me rewind a little bit. Let me translate it for you. Let's see.
Questo è il primo saluto del Cristo risorto.
I already did that.
Il buon pastore.
The good shepherd.
Che ha dato la vita per il gregge di Dio.
Who gave his life for the flock of God.
Anch'io vorrei che questo saluto di pace.
I too would like this salutation of peace, this greetings of peace.
Entrasse nel vostro cuore.
May enter in your heart.
Raggiungesse le vostre famiglie.
May reach your families. Interesting the way he said famiglie with an L. So there are three ways to pronounce this GL in Italian. Either you pronounce it like it's supposed to be, which is famiglie. That's how it's supposed to be pronounced. Or you pronounce it in the southern way, which is a Y, famiglie, with a Y. Or you pronounce it the northern way, which is an L, familie. Not all northern people do that, but those that do are all from the north. He did it in the northern way. Makes sense because the standard way, it's actually the hardest. It can be tough. Southern way sounds Spanish. Yeah, very similar. Probably that's where it's probably an influence of Spanish kingdoms and whatnot. It's possible. But, so that was interesting. However, when he said risorto, how do I pronounce it? I try to use standard, but if I'm speaking to like cousins back in Sicily, I revert to southern. My natural is southern. I would pronounce it like a Y. I would say famiglia. But if I'm giving a public speech or when I used to teach in school, I would switch to standard and say famiglia, la famiglia. So it kind of depends. I know that for some people there would be no distinction whatsoever. Just imagine it as a very strong Y if it's the southern way. All right, let's go.
A tutte le persone.
To everyone.
Ovunque siano.
Wherever they may be.
A tutti I popoli.
To all the people.
a tutta la terra.
to the entire earth.
La pace sia con voi.
May peace be with you. There you go. Great. Thank you. Man, I could have done a good job. All right. I see some Peruvian flags. Am I right? Oh, yeah. 15 minutes of clapping. 1 second. Yeah. Okay, yeah. All right.
Pace di
And that sounded like a football match.
e la pace di Cristo risorto. Una pace disarmata e una pace disarmante.
Okay, interesting. So, yeah, now he said the peace of the resurrected Christ, a disarming, yeah, I think you can say that, a disarming peace. He said disarmante. So he definitely pronounces the S in intervocalic position. So when the S is in between two vowels, he's pronouncing it as a, it's a fricative still, but it's the S variety, rather than the Z variety. Yeah, exactly, like the word risotto, which now in standard it's more correct to say risotto with a Z, but I imagine he would say risotto, which is how people do say it in the south, even in all the way up to Rome. I'm wondering if his preference for the S sound in intervocalic position is because he speaks Spanish. That could be. That could be. Fascinating.
Umile e perseverante.
Persevering.
Proviene da Dio.
Coming from God.
Dio che ci ama a tutti.
The God who loves all of us. God loves all of us. Yeah.
Incondizionalmente.
Unconditionally. Conditionally.
Ancora conserviamo nei nostri orecchi.
Oh, that's interesting. Still, we keep in our ears. He said i nostri orecchi, which is masculine for our ears. A lot of Italians use feminine and say le nostre orecchie. Believe it or not, the way he said it is more correct, even though it's not used as much in spoken language in Italy. I'm going to say that the majority of Italians use feminine for ears, but it is more correct. In fact, if some Italians are watching now, you might disagree and you'll be wrong. Because you'll be like, no, Metatron, your orecchio is wrong. No, he's actually right. I think in this case, unless maybe the way it is, if I remember right, is orecchie is when it's the pair, orecchi is when they are like both right or both left. So in that case, he would be wrong. You know, I'm gonna look into this. It's gonna give me a little bit of weird flashbacks. Anyways, they both exist. Gli orecchi, le orecchie. In technical terminology, I think orecchi with masculine can be more correct, but only in certain situations. So I would have to look at the script. Let's go.
Quella voce debole ma sempre coraggiosa di Papa Francesco che benediva Roma.
Yeah, now he's talking about the voice of Pope Francis who was blessing Rome, I think he said, specifically the city. Cool. I wonder, so I see some of you speak Spanish here. How much can you understand without my translation, by the way? I'd be curious to know.
Il Papa che benediva Roma
The Pope who blessed Rome
dava la sua benedizione al mondo.
Was giving his blessing to the world. He said mundo. That sounds more like Spanish. It's mondo in Italian. So that's the first mistake he actually made. Still, excellent Italian. I'm not trying to roast the Pope. I'm just I'm just analyzing it, forgetting for a moment, and I'm analyzing to be like, let's see, if I was his teacher, what would I tell him to change? In this case, it's mondo. But then again, he's speaking in front of tens of thousands of people, so I would imagine that I would be making mistakes in my own language just because of performance anxiety. So we do have to consider that possibility.
Mondo intero quella mattina del giorno di Pasqua.
That morning of Easter, yeah, okay.
Consentitemi di dar seguito a quella stessa benedizione.
Consentitemi di dar seguito a quella stessa benedizione. He's speaking it well, so I think we have established that I think he doesn't know Italian at this point. I think his Italian is pretty good. So I believe, let me see, where is it that he speaks Spanish? Because his Italian is good. Let's see. Let's have a look.
Dobbiamo cercare insieme
Still Italian.
a tutti
So Italian.
también una palabra
Aha, here's the Spanish. Is it Spanish? Let's go, guys. Let's see how's his Spanish. Let's go.
la nostra presenza, il dialogo,
That's
l'amore.
Italian. That's Italian. Okay.
Y se me permiten también una palabra, un saludo
And
a
if you-
todos aquellos, y en modo particular a mi querida diócesis de Chiclayo en el Perú.
What do you guys think?
Donde un pueblo fiel ha acompañado a su obispo, ha compartido su fe y ha dado tanto para seguir siendo iglesia fiel de Jesucristo. A tutti voi, fratelli e sorelle.
Okay, switched back to Italian. So there was just a little snippet of Spanish. What did you guys think? Since we've got natives here, Spanish is fine. He speaks it really well. Boom. Okay, so 2 languages up to this point. Pope is legit. So his Spanish is legit. His Peruvian Spanish was good, so he does actually sound Peruvian. That's fascinating, man. This is like a detective thing. We're putting on detective hats. All right, so his Italian was good. His Spanish is good. You say accent, but so clear. So he has a bit of an accent, but still so clear. Very good, very good. So how about we jump into the Latin, guys? How about we jump into the Latin? Hablo español nativo, lo hace muy bien el Papa, says Fabian. So you speak, you're a native Spanish speaker, and you say that he does it very well. He did very well, very good. But you say he doesn't sound Peruvian, says someone else. Okay, his English is terrible. No, it's not. It's kind of a more of a neutral. Okay, cool. Yeah. Easy to understand. That's what I thought. I would say the same about his Italian. Easy to understand. He has an accent. I can tell he's non-native, but it's not too strong of an accent. Thank you, Jasper, for gifting a Metatron donation subscription. Membership. Goodness gracious, I'm getting confused with the words here. I really appreciate that. Thank you so much for the support. All right, let's go to Latin. Let's go for Latin. How is his Latin? Let's go. Okay. Now it's the real deal.
Sancti Apostoli Petrus et Paulus, de quorum potestate et auctoritate confidimus, ipsi intercedant pro nobis ad Dominum. Amen.
Amen. Okay. Well, I can't really detect much of an American accent when it's definitely ecclesiastical. We were expecting that. I mean, we're gonna have to, because he said intercedant, intercede. That's what that means. And I can translate it, by the way. I'll translate it for you. In fact, I think I have a transcription of the Latin here that we can use. And so what he said is, there you go. So, Sancti Apostoli, so holy apostles. You know what? I'll read what he said, and then I'll translate it. So he said, Sancti Apostoli, Petrus et Paulus, de quorum potestate et auctoritate confidimus, ipsi intercedant pro nobis ad Dominum. Amen. That's what he said. So, Sancti Apostoli, holy apostles, Petrus et Paulus, Peter and Paul, de quorum potestate et auctoritate, so by the power and authority. Confidimu, it means we trust, confide, that's another way. We trust, and then intercede for us with the Lord. Amen. So, ipse intercedant is intercede pro nobis, for us, ad Dominum, to the Lord. And I'm specifically pronouncing the M because in ecclesiastical pronunciation, the M is supposed to be fully pronounced, just like in Italian. If I was reading this in classical, the M would be completely nasalized, by the way. We can talk about the other details. So far, so good. I have to give it to him. So far, so good. Let's go.
Precibus et meritis Beate
Oops.
Mariae semper.
Whoa.
Amen.
Okay. Amen.
Precibus et meritis Beate Mariae semper Virginis, Beati Michaelis Arcangeli, Beati Ioannis Baptiste, et Sanctorum Apostolorum Petri et Pauli et omnium Sanctorum, misereatur vestri omnipotens Deus.
All right, so interesting. So he's reading it here. I find it fascinating that they never really mark the phonemic vowel length. I think that would make it a lot easier to read for anyone, but whatever, it doesn't matter. Okay, so let's examine what he said. Let's get back. So he said, Precibus et meritis beate Mariae semper virginis. We're all there? Which means by the prayer and merits of the Blessed Mary, ever virgin, ever a virgin. That's what it means. Of course, Catholic doctrine. And the pronunciation is clearly ecclesiastical because the C is pronounced as a ch, so precibus, precibus. And then beate, Mariae, instead of beatae, Mariae, because the ae in classical would be a full diphthong, whereas in ecclesiastical is simplified into a e, so Mariae, and then semper virginis instead of virginis, which would be classical. So up to this point, I think that was pronounced really well, really well. Yeah, what else? Oh yeah, I did want you to notice this. Check this out though.
Pro nobis ad Dominum. Amen.
Check this out.
Precibus et meritis beate Mariae semper virginis.
Precibus et meritis beate Maria semper virginis. That is exactly what I was telling you about. It's the singing intonation of liturgy in Catholicism. And that's why I think it's kind of difficult for me to specifically, since its pronunciation of single vowels and consonants is pretty good, I don't detect an accent because accents are oftentimes, it's a canticle, yeah. So accents are oftentimes detected through the way we have the ups and downs naturally in any sentence, and the way, the intonation and all that. But that goes away when he's doing this. It's a bit similar to when you sing. If you sing a song, it's in fact harder to detect an accent. And I personally think that this also has to do with addressing the masses, and because the way you intonate something, I've been doing some studies on it, the way you create a certain sentence pattern and the way you choose to slow down, or you decide where to breathe or how to go up and down in the middle of a sentence, really influences the way you're perceived by people listening. And we don't only see this in church situations, because you might think, well, he's singing because that's what they do at church. No, you find it in a lot of situations. For instance, one of the most successful YouTubers on this platform, Michael from Vsauce, he has a very, if you check it, the way he speaks, you know what he does? He has a very organized pattern where he will begin a sentence very fast. I've analyzed this. He will begin a sentence very fast and then gradually slow down at the very end. So that's what he does. He will tell you, what is the resolution of the eye? Well, one thing we can know for sure is this. He'll do that. He'll do that all the time. He starts very fast, so it keeps you entertained. He starts slowing down towards the end because now you're hooked. And then it's kind of a form of delayed gratification, but with information. So the very end, you're waiting because he keeps saying, and this is the very thing. And you're like, so you're not going to click away. You know what I mean? Because you're waiting for that to finish. Rinse and repeat. Interestingly enough, with this kind of intonation that goes up this way, we find it on another speaker. Can you guess who? Very famous. I'll tell you. President Trump. He has a little bit of an intonation pattern like this. He's terrific, really terrific guy, very smart. Have you ever noticed it? It's similar to this. I don't think it's random. I think it was written. I think it was planned. He does that a lot. He does that a lot, if you notice. Am I right? Yeah, exactly. It's true. It's similar to this. I'm not saying it's the same as saying Beate Maria semper virginis. No, but then again, this is a terrific guy, really terrific, very good. He does that. It's the same thing. Fascinating stuff. I think it was prepared. I think that's what it is. It's trained. It's rehearsed. In religion and politics, nothing is random. I'm going to leave it at that. All right, so let's continue. No fake news. I know, man. I know. You know, I have a background in linguistics and, this kind of stuff. Speech training, very much so. And it does help with addressing the masses, because the masses are a single body from a mass psychology point of view. I didn't make that up. It's from Bernays, who is Freud's nephew, on his book Propaganda. So, yeah, there is a lot that can go into it, but neural linguistic programming, there we go. Yeah, that too. All right. No, I haven't officially analyzed Trump's speech before, but I mean, I could. I'd probably do it on the second channel, to be honest. But yeah, I mean, I noticed it. And when I noticed it, I'm like, I think I know what that is. Linguistic detective. All right, let's go.
Beati Michaelis Arcangeli.
So, Beati Michaelis Arcangeli. So, blessed. I'm going to stop doing the intonation, though. It's just fun to do. Anyways, blessed Archangel Michael. Did you notice this word? Michaeli. C-H-A-E, right? So one would think, wouldn't that be simplified? Like you say in classical, Caesar, in ecclesiastical, Caesar. So Michaelis, shouldn't it be Michelis? It's not. It's not. Probably because of the H, but in general, even in ecclesiastical, this is a K sound, 100%, and the I is fully, it's probably one of the few cases in which this happens. It's fascinating. My opinion is because the original word, the name Michael, comes from Hebrew. And in the Bible, or in general in Hebrew, it's Michael. Michael. That's the name, Michael, who is like El. So who is like God, El, Elohim, Eloah. So that's what it means. And even in Greek transliteration, they put the X, there we go, we just find it there. And which is, again, an aspiration, so Michael, and that's what it is. All right.
Beati Ioannis Baptiste, et sanctorum apostolorum Petri, et Pauli, et omnium sanctorum. Misereatur vestri omnipotens Deus, et
Omnipotens. He actually mispronounced the stress there. Omnipotens Deus.
Missis omnibus peccatis vestris, perducat vos Jesus Christus ad vitam aeternam.
I do have to say, though, that his vowel length is pretty good. Like how he said now, vestris, perducat vos, Jesus Christus ad vitam aeternam. That's actually excellent phonemic vowel length. All his long vowels were correct, and differently from me, he doesn't have them written. So I gotta give credit where credit is due. That's actually pretty good. So yeah, now blessed Michael the Archangel, blessed John the Baptist, and the holy apostles, may Almighty God have mercy on you, Peter and Paul, and all the saints, and may Jesus Christ, having forgiven you all your sins, lead you to eternal life. That's the translation of this passage. And then we're almost done, by the way, but this is fascinating. Benedictio coram populo.
Indulgentiam, absolutionem, et remissionem omnium peccatorum vestrorum, spatium vere et fructuose penitentiae, cor semper penitens, et emendationem vitae, gratiam et consolationem Sancti Spiritus.
This is actually so nice. We don't, with my kind of studies, I always listen to classical, and I love classical. I think classical Latin is the most beautiful pronunciation of the two, but it is nice to hear some properly articulated ecclesiastical Latin, and I'll justify why I'm saying properly now. It's nice. It sounds good. He's really good at it, by the way. The only thing now that kind of sounded a bit coming from the Anglophone perspective, but again, if you want more details on this, I would suggest I'll show you the video. But my dear friend and colleague Luke Ranieri, I know he made a video about it. He definitely dissected this into the syntax and everything, because he's a pro. But this is something that I can notice too when he says consolationem. The vowel should be open, full. Instead, he appears to be reducing it. Let me double check it.
Gratiam et consolationem Sancti.
Yeah, consolationem. No, consolationem. Like the vowel should not be reduced, but reducing vowels towards the end of a rather longish or compound word is a characteristic of Anglophone speakers. And if you're a native English speaker, you might not think so. You're like, no, I do pronounce red, great, but you don't say cupboard, you say cupboard. You don't say Johnson, you say Johnson. You don't say Oxford, you say Oxford or Oxford, whatever. Doesn't matter if your accent is rhotic or not. English speakers in certain patterns will shorten vowels. Like, they will do that. And so that's what he did here. He just did it naturally because, once again, he's speaking in front of tens of thousands of people. Probably, who knows how many people, maybe 100K in that situation. Do you think the Pope should speak Hebrew? Speak, no, but the ability to read the Bible in Hebrew, I think, would be great. But I do believe they know how to do that because, I mean, the Catholic Church has an excellent interlinear Bible for scholars. That's the one I study, which has Hebrew on one side and then either English or Italian on the other. And I'm pretty sure the cardinals, when they do Bible studies, I'm pretty sure they use that one. There is a big difference, in fact, in the translation for the Bible for families and the Bible for scholars, because Bible for scholars is more of a literal translation, whereas Bible for families is an interpreted translation that often, and sometimes the translation I actually disagree with, but maybe one day I'll address that on a dedicated video. Even you have an interlinear Bible. Yeah, I think I love interlinear Bibles, both in Greek and in Hebrew, and that's that. Okay, cool. The language of Jesus. Well, yeah, I mean, Jesus would have been familiar with it, but also he would have spoken Aramaic. It's just that when he was reading scripture, most likely would have read Hebrew, but in everyday life, he would have most likely spoken Aramaic. So there is that. Burn all translations. Why would we do that, Mark? I mean, translations are necessary. In fact, translations of anything, it doesn't even have to be scripture, but anything, are always a great thing because it gives more choice to the people. So however you stand on anything, when you give more choice to people in terms of having access to whatever they want to read, I think is a good thing. Whether you agree or disagree on what's written on the book, it's good to give access. Cool, right, let's go.
Spiritus, et finalem perseverantiam in bonis operibus.
Oh, he did say perseverant. I don't know. I don't want to be too nitpicky. It sounded a bit like a T, and if you say perseverantiam, that would be classical. It should be perseverantiam in ecclesiastical, but it maybe did. He did. Let me see.
Et finalem perseverantiam in bonis operibus.
I don't know. It's kind of in between. What do you guys think? Is he saying perseverantiam or is he saying perseverantiam? One more time.
Spiritus. Et finalem perseverantiam in bonis operibus.
It almost sounds interdental, perseverantiam. You say it sounded a bit more like a T. That, to me too. So yeah, it should be perseverantiam, but I mean, it is written with a T, so it makes sense if someone, it's a little mistake, maybe. Kind of a softer T, I would say, yeah, for sure. Cool, next.
Tribuat vobis omnipotens et misericors Dominus.
Oh, now he said it right, omnipotence, yeah. Because earlier on he said omnipotence. Okay, then he knows it. No problem.
Et benedictio Dei omnipotentis.
Benedictio Dei omnipotentis. No problem. Once again, he didn't fully extend omnipotentis, but it still was omnipotentis, so I don't have a problem with that. It's a little...
Patris et Filii et Spiritus Sancti descendat super vos et maniat semper.
Mm-hmm. Amen. All right, yeah. No, I think he did a very good job. I honestly think he did a very good job. He has a bit of an accent, but it's not that much, and I thought that was very well executed ecclesiastical pronunciation, in my opinion. Now, do you remember when I was telling you, before we move to other topics, because today is not going to be all about language, just a little bit the beginning, but when I told you it's nice to hear properly executed ecclesiastical pronunciation. Are you familiar with the words? Let me see if I can write them for you very quickly. One moment, please. Let's see, so I can kind of... Yeah. Oh, the microphone is getting the focus here. Hey, I pulled a Mutahar on you. There you go. So, one second. Are you familiar with these words? Let me just type them here. Yeah. I didn't know it was the title of an album. Apparently, well, here you go. You never stop. Oh, it's a band. It's a musical band. That's so funny. Anyways, these words that I just typed here. So how would you guys pronounce these? Try and type the pronunciation for you. Let's see who can guess it. How would you pronounce these in ecclesiastical? You can tell me the classical, but classical is easy. In fact, I'll tell you the classical. Classical is mihi nihil. That's classical pronunciation. How do you pronounce it in ecclesiastical, though? Let's see if you know. We'll do a little game, a little challenge. Okay, we're getting a lot of ideas, because the reason why I'm specifically singling out these is because these often get mispronounced. I noticed that in ecclesiastical, either because someone reads them in classical, mihi nihil, that's classical, so it would be out of place in an ecclesiastical pronunciation. My wife is fist pumping for saying it right. That's funny. All right, let me tell you then. All right, some of you guessed, some didn't. All right, so here is how it is. You have two varieties. Either you completely mute the H and you say nil, me. This is one way. Personally, not my favorite way, because the idea of having two vowels one after the other is not easy, and particularly if you are singing or you have a choir, then yeah, that doesn't help much. The other option is to pronounce it like a K, so miki, nikil. They are both correct. In my opinion, the most correct, like they're both correct, but the one that is suggested more, at least not only now, but I'll give you some historical context, is the K one. So, Miki, Nikil is in fact, and by the way, this means to me, for me, and this means nothing. So this one, for instance, you can find it in the very famous sentence, very Catholic, creatio et nihilo. So creation from nothing, which is, right, it's Catholic doctrine. And that's the same word. So you can say nihil if you want, but it's usually suggested to pronounce these like a K. This is not, however, because I've seen someone say that it's a modern, and it's not. This has been the case since the Middle Ages. So in medieval Italy, when, I'm talking 1,000 years ago, we have not only both spelt, and when they spell it as a K sound because they didn't have a K, they spell it as a CH because in Italian, a CH is a K sound, right? So we do find it spelled that way, and we also find it spelled basically removing the H completely, and you have the two vowels. So both have been acceptable pronunciations within the ecclesiastical pronunciation or the Italianate pronunciation of Latin for at least 1,000 years that we can document. And that's the first thing. So it's not a modern thing. Oh, it's a modern, no. However, even in the medieval period, the K sound pronunciation was the preferred one. It's the one that we find the most. Okay? So, yeah, that's how it is. In classical, mihi, nihil. I would just say that when you pronounce the H in classical Latin, I wouldn't exaggerate it. I would pronounce it as a soft H rather than, like, you don't have to go into like an Arabic sounding H, just a soft pronunciation, and that's how I would do it. So yeah. Yet, but yeah, annihilation comes from it. Interestingly enough, annihilation, you don't pronounce the H. You don't say annihilation in English. That's one of those mute H's that you have in English very rarely, unless you're a Cockney. Then you mute everything. You have it. It's very nice to have. Yeah, you have it. Anyways, yeah, so there's that. Since it means nothing yet, annihilating means to make into nothing. It's pretty much, heck, yeah, it's a good etymology right there. There are a lot of words, like even with my wife, when we first met, we used to spend, when we first met, I mean on the phone, where we were speaking on the phone for the first time, we used to speak about these things. Like there are so many words that come from Latin through French, through Italian, through Norman French, in fact, or directly through Latin, if you consider the time that the Romans were in Britain, that sometimes you don't realize it. Like, for instance, our word to say hand in Italian is mano, mani. That's how we say it, singular, mano, mani. That's how we say it in Italian. And in English, you say hand, hands. But you do say manual labor. So clearly there is the connection. And often the connection is in these words, rather than the everyday words, which are clearly Germanic in nature. You find the connection in those words that instead are more of a compound. They come into the second layer of the language rather than the primordial layer of the language, which in English is clearly with a Germanic core. But all of the other layers, you can tell that oftentimes that's how it is. So like you want to say like a dog, for instance, then you have another alternative, which is hound, which is very similar to German Hund. Clearly that's the connection right there. But then again, canine, and we say cane, there is the connection. And it's once again on the next layer, because canine is not something you say every day, like you would dog. And there are so many situations like this that I think are fascinating. Yeah, of course, in Spanish, the H, hablar, the hermano, hermanos, the H in Spanish is not, in fact, when you want to create that sound, you use the jota, right? And I know that it pisses you off when someone calls it a J. I know it pisses you off. It's a jota in Spanish. Yeah, that's where you have your aspiration. In Italian, the H is always mute. You never pronounce the H in modern Italian. It's, in fact, to the children in elementary school, in primary school, to give a little bit of a fun fact, we teach it as la mutina, the little mute. That's how we call the H, la mutina, because you never pronounce it in Italian. The only case, in fact, Italian, my language, is almost entirely unaspirated. There is almost zero aspiration in Italian. Our T's and D's are like t, t, ta, 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 ta. I don't do ta, like time in English, which does have a little aspiration, time. In Italian, ta, 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 ta. So ticket, which does have an aspiration in English, ti chiamo, ti. It's like Italian has no aspiration. So to give you an idea, it would be like all of our CH sound are all unaspirated when we say chi sei, ki. So basically it would be not like the word kill, because that one is aspirated, but like the word skill, which has the same K sound, but without aspiration. You can try it right now. You can try and say it multiple times. Skill. There is no aspiration, but there is in kill. So, Italian, no aspirations. The only difference is in some regional varieties of spoken Tuscan, like in Florence, for instance, when sometimes they will aspirate certain C's, but they usually only do it in maybe in intervocalic position, but whatever, they will do it there. So that's the only situation where they have that sound. Otherwise, if you're from any other region, sometimes aspirations can be a problem, like hoa hola, that's a famous one, yeah, which I probably butchered, but whatever. Very cool. Anyways, that was with the Pope. That was what I wanted to talk about with the Pope. I would like to now focus on chat a little bit, see what you guys have to say. If you have questions about anything, linguistics, translation, but also history, whatever the heck you want. I'm happy to focus on chat now a little bit. Then after we are done focusing in chat, we're going to check out this man. Historian and armor expert reacts to Kingdom. You know who this guy is, right? Dr. Tobias Capwell. And he apparently shared his opinions on Kingdom Come Deliverance 2. So I haven't watched it. I don't know anything about it. We see the sections here. We're going to check what sections we've got, what he thinks, what he talks about. We won't watch the whole thing, but I wasn't aware of this channel. There must be a new channel, kind of similar to what they do on Insider or Wired. Sometimes they do this. Maybe it's a channel entirely dedicated to find an expert and that. By the way, yesterday I watched The Downfall movie about the Austrian painter and his fan club. The Austrian Painter Fan Club, and I actually enjoyed this movie. It was a very good movie, and it's free right now on YouTube. So if you've got nothing to watch, it's in German, but you can read the subtitles, And there is that. All right, let's focus on chat now. Oh yeah, I'm not even showing. Sorry, I thought I was showing you the screen. So yeah, this is Historian and Armor Expert reacts to Kingdom Come Deliverance 2. And I was talking about Downfall because you can see it here on the side. Because I finished watching it yesterday, 2 hours and 35 minutes. It's free. And it's a good movie about the Austrian painter. So you could, if you're interested, you don't have anything to watch after the stream. I got you a movie to watch. But yeah, Tobias Capwell, channel EXP. We're gonna check this out. But for now, the floor is yours. I'm gonna move chat to the front, so we can have a good time. I'm gonna read Twitch as well, because we're multi-streaming. Hey, we've got 420 viewers. That's fantastic. Oh, there is one thing I wanted to show you. I'll show you in a little bit. So we're not completely done with the Pope. I do remember that there is a mini short that I want to show you. After I read your chat, we're gonna go back to it, and I'll show you this thing that I wanted to share with you. Yes, but what have the Romans ever done for us? Yeah, that's always great. That's always great. What language did Christopher Columbus speak? He would have spoken his Genoese variety of Italian, so regional language, in medieval, of course. I imagine he also spoke a certain level of Spanish, considering that he ended up working for the Spanish crown. I don't know if they needed an interpreter, but I don't think I've ever seen him mention it anywhere, so I would imagine he spoke Spanish as well. But do remember that Christopher Columbus is Italian. Cristoforo Colombo. Cristoforo, Christopher meaning bringer of Christ. That's the meaning. Yeah. The road, the sanitation, the aqueduct. It's kind of funny that in that scene of Life of Brian, they even say it a bit with an accent. The sanitation. The sanitation. Oh, gosh. So, yeah. Argentinian Spanish was actually heavily influenced by Italian. Yeah, I don't know about the mainland, though. Yeah. I mean, Argentinian Spanish, together with Spain Spanish, is the easiest one to understand for me as an Italian. So, yeah. Guillermo asks, Metatron, did you and your wife end up figuring out the issue with your agency, the payments? Sorry if it's out of topic. No, I'm considering making a video soon. So there will be an update on that whole situation with the MCN. Let me just tell you that, yeah, I think I'm feeling confident to say that I think we won that one, and it's thanks to you. Yeah, because I waited to speak about it because I had to ask a couple of people that, you know, I had to ask a couple of lawyers for opinions. They said for now, maybe leave it. So I didn't speak about it, but eventually I wanted to speak about it. I did speak about it on stream a few times. I did do that. So just to give you a little, if for those who don't know, at one point about a month ago, I made a video. And on this video, I explained that my MCN, so the multi-channel network through which I am monetized on YouTube, and they are the ones that take care of my payments when it comes to my revenue that I earn with AdSense. I had a situation because they at one point said, we're not going to send you the money for some time, because they thought that there was like a problem with calculations, and they thought they had overpaid me, but I showed them that that wasn't the case. And if there was any form of overpayment that had happened a year and a half ago, first, it wouldn't be my problem because I didn't make the mistake. Second, I would be okay if you paid me too much money. I understand, but you have to give me time. And so don't just stop paying me until we recover the entire thing, because then, you know, but maybe let's figure it out. And we've been together for a decade. Let's figure it out. Let's find a payment plan and I'll pay you back. But the amount that they were saying, $30,000, was absolutely moronic. I did all the maths. They were wrong. So I told them that, and they kind of said, yeah, sorry, mate, we're not going to give you this money. So they were taking away $30,000 from me. So, of course, I made a video. I made a video about it. And if you notice, the video only stayed up for 20 hours, in the sense that after those 20 hours, I privated it. No, unlisted it, not privated it, but I unlisted it. So the reason why I did that is because I made that video. It got 100,000 views very quickly. And then you guys, I did say don't harass them. Of course, I always say that. But some of you, let's say you told them you should pay your creators. Let's put it this way. Well, that worked. And they contacted me after 20 hours and they said, oh, no, we will pay you. Not an admission of guilt, okay, for the lawyers out there. But they did say they didn't like the fact that they said that they were getting some nasty emails. Now, I don't condone that in any way, shape, or form, but I do appreciate for those of you who weren't nasty, but still said, fought for me. I really appreciate that. So they said they were going to pay. Why did I not make immediately an update? Well, first, because a lot of you told me maybe you should speak to a lawyer. And so, in those situations, you want to look at what happened with Carl Jobs for not listening to lawyers. So I decided, you know what, let's wait a second. But the other reason is because after some times, they did pay me. They said they gave me the entire sum. However, that I still wasn't confident because they could pay me. Then I make a video and I say, guys, everything's solved. And then they don't pay me for the next 2 months. So I wanted some time to pass for me to be able to actually double check that they are actually going to continue to pay me my revenue as normal, because it is my revenue. It's money that I generated. But the reason why I removed the video immediately after 20 hours is because after 20 hours, they told me they were going to pay me. So I didn't have, of course, that information when I made the video. So if the video stayed up, considering the fact that many of you, you're amazing, were sending me money for support, then I thought if I leave the video up and it's got 100,000 views very quickly, it's going to continue to get views. It's going to hit 500,000 views, and I'm going to continue to get donations from you. However, at that point, after the 20 hours, it would be under a false premise, because at that point, they would be telling me, I still didn't know if it was true, but I still didn't feel good about continuing to receive money from you. So I had to stop the donations. And that's why the video was put unlisted very quickly. And I completely killed its momentum. Would I have made a lot more money if I let it continue? Yes, but I wouldn't feel good about it. So that's the thing. Okay, so every time you guys support, whether it be through a super chat, whether it be through becoming members or going on Patreon, I'm very thankful for that. But I always want you to do it in a way that you feel like, yeah, I want to do this support because, I don't know, right now Metatron is not getting many views, or maybe right now we want to self-fund some videos that we know the algorithm is not going to push, but not in a situation when you think that they are not going to pay me. But now after 20 hours, they told me that they're going to pay me. Is that a lie? I didn't know at the time, but that was enough for me to say, I'm not gonna risk misleading people. So that's why I stopped. That's why the video went out. And that's also why I waited. But I think I waited enough at this point. Do I know that they're not going to pull anything like that ever again? No. But I do know that some of you want to know what happened. So for now, this is the first time I actually addressed the situation. And so that was great. Thanks to you, my money was paid to me. We got $30,000, and that was great. But I have to say that, yeah, so that's what happened. One problem was solved. It's not the only one, since, as you know, right now the channel, when it comes to channel growth, is going through a catastrophic downfall, and I honestly don't know why. The Metatron's therapy right now. Thank you. I thank you so much, Starwind, by the way, for gifting 5 subscriptions on Twitch. Thank you so much. I really appreciate that. There you go. You guys are awesome. DJ Medeiros, thank you for the support. Outside of the Roman Empire, both Western and Eastern, which empire was the most influential in history? For me, it would still be Western, but I might be biased on that. So I am trying to not be biased and try to be logical about it. And I guess it will be influential to what section of the world is another thing that we should probably analyze when talking about this. But considering the fact of all the Romance languages that came from Latin was the language in the West. So I would still say Western Roman Empire, also because of the expansion. But that's that. You have a partner manager, don't you talk to about this stuff? Well, yes, but the thing is that, the partner manager, whenever I speak to her about these things, she does tell me, well, maybe leave the MCN, but I can't leave the MCN because I've already explained why on that video, which I understand is not here now. So I guess so yeah, let me just put it this way. Because I'm an Italian who created an Italian YouTube account with AdSense, but I live in the US, the only way I can get paid on my bank account is through an MCN. There is no way to avoid that. No way to avoid that. I know some of you may like, you sure? Yes, I looked into it. It's why someone like Ethan Klein does the exact same thing. He created his channel in Israel. He moved to the US. He had to go through an MCN. It's just how it works. When you're an American, or you're an Italian, or you're whatever the heck, and you make your channel on your channel in your country, and you stay in your country, you don't need an MCN to be paid. But when you move abroad, there's no. It's either that or you create a new AdSense. I don't want to go through that. So that's how it is. It's kind of a necessary situation that we have to have. But up to this point, I never had problems with it. I never had problems with the MCN. They always did their job right. Never had a problem. Whenever I sent an email, they were responding. I don't know if there was like a change of leadership, whatever it is, but that's where we are right now. Anyways, we won. And that's thanks to you guys. So the next big boss, that was the boss. The next big boss is understanding what on earth is happening with the subscriptions right now. I don't know if you noticed today's video. I did a little intro, which I thought was fun, with me saying, like, asking people to subscribe in kind of a funny way. And the reason why I'm doing that is because I'm trying to counter this downward spiral with YouTube, because we went from 14,000 subscriptions every month to 400 every month in a matter of weeks. I've never seen anything like that in 12 years on the platform. I don't know if this has to do with something artificial due to the recent update in the algorithm that happened 2 days ago. I don't know, but it is strange. 400. So my gaming channel with 13,000 subs now has a faster growth than this channel. And I have no idea why. So I have to try and counter it. That's like the big boss situation now. And one way, of course, is memberships. So I do, and Twitch. So I appreciate anyone becoming a member today, because that's one way that I don't have to worry about and continue the production, because it becomes kind of a self-funded situation. So I do appreciate anyone subscribing and becoming members. But I also trying to push a little bit more and be like, subscribe, because I don't know what the heck is happening. That's the thing. Hey, Sam, thank you for the support. We are with you, Metatron. Thank you so much. Sending you positive waves. I appreciate, Sam. I can't relate with the ad revenue yet. Still trying to become watch hours worthy. Ingot videos soon. Oh, yeah, I love Ingot. Thank you, B-Buster. There you go. Thank you for the 5 membership. I really appreciate, by the way. I do know that that's most likely, surely, your hard-worked money. I want to say surely your hard-worked money. And so I really don't take anything for granted. Thank you so much for this generosity. And for those who received a membership now, do remember that every live stream, we have a 30 minutes dedicated entirely to members in chat, where I allow, basically the chat becomes only for members. So if you just received a membership, or you're already a member, or you're considering becoming a member, that's one of the perks, regardless of what level in membership you choose. Every time I go live, there will be 30 minutes. You and we have good time with the chat. Ask me whatever you want. And I know that because I watch other creators, and sometimes like I type a comment and the creator doesn't see it because there are too many comments. Well, if you're a member, there is a monumentally higher chance that I'll obviously read, maybe not all of your comments, but definitely I'll read a lot of your comments, because that's what happens. Always need more green in the channel. Yeah, members you can see with green. That's actually very easy. I guess that's how you see it too, right? Because I see members in green with your name. I guess everyone sees that, I suppose. It's not just me. I never really paid attention when I'm a watcher, I suppose. So there is that. I reiterate, you have a good, strong community, and we stand by you, sir. You're absolutely right, Starwind. That's why I'm a bit worried with the metrics, but I'm not too worried, because I know that you guys, every time there was a crisis, which we have gone through a few. I mean, if you know, you know. We've gone through mass demonetization at one point, if you remember. All my videos got demonetized. 1,000 videos demonetized, and luckily that one was resolved. But yeah, we've gone through a few things, and this is the new one. This is the new. We can never stay completely calm, can we? But this, yeah, you see the green, very cool, Kristen. But as I say, we can never stay calm. There's always something. Now is the downfall of subscriptions, but luckily memberships have gone up. So in a way, that's compensating. But it is so weird. You know what? I'll tell you the number right now. So before I started streaming, let me see. I had 980,828 subscribers. Refresh. Okay, not too bad. So this must have been refreshed as well. Well, basically, sorry, I just refreshed this when I went to the dashboard, but even just telling you about it, I lost a subscriber. Yeah. Well, now I gained one. I think some of you subscribed, so thank you. But the thing is that, as you see, 980,828, but yesterday I had 981,000 and almost, and like 58. So I lost 180 subscribers in a day. I don't know why. Yeah, so, and that's how it's going right now. Every single day, the number goes back instead of going forward. So it really feels like it's artificially, maybe this is my bias, okay? Because I understand that I look at it as the content creator. Maybe it's my bias, but to me, when you like 12, 13 years of work and you're like 100,000, 200,000, 500,000, 600, 980,000, you go on 181, you're like, oh, 19 to a million, and then 180, 79, 78, 76. It feels like they're like taking away from us the million mark. But maybe that's just me, okay? I understand it. Maybe that's just me. As you say, maybe they're removing bots. If they're removing bot accounts, great. But in theory, how the way this works is that imagine that you have a growth, like I used to a couple of weeks ago. If you have a growth of about 10,000 subscribers, and then you lose, imagine, 3,000, right? You have a net positive of 7, which means, when I refresh, subscribers go up. If subscribers go down, which is what's happening now, never happened in 13 years, if every time you refresh subscribers go down, it means that the positive net of subscribers is, as a number, is lower than the amount of people that unsubscribe. Which makes sense, since now the growth is literally 400 people a month. That's crazy low. Crazy low. My last year in May, my growth was 75,000 a month. And it went from that to 400 a month. What on earth is happening? I have no idea. But I've never seen a downfall like that. Now, I'll probably make a dedicated video at one point. Like, I don't know what I'll call it, but I'll make a video to show the analytics and talk about it. But I'm afraid that video then is going to cap at 15,000 and people are not even going to get the notification, because this happens sometimes. So yeah, I can make the video, but if it doesn't get watched, then, and it's not your fault. It's absolutely not your fault. Not to mention, if that day, even if you got the notification, you didn't feel like watching that video, I'd be totally cool with it. But if you don't even get the notification, that's what, as a creator, that annoys me. Hi.
Me.
So we did the whole Pope thing.
Oh yeah.
Oh yeah, I think we had a good time. Did we have a good time, guys? We got some good subscriptions, both on Twitch and
thank
memberships.
You guys so much.
Yeah, memberships here. We just got a super chat. Let me read it. Luna Corvus, thank you for the $10. May you reach 1 million soon. I appreciate that.
Yeah, I definitely hope so.
I really hope so.
I
And
need a gift.
she got a cheese, guys. The cheese bringer. Thank you so much. We got the
I
cheese.
didn't know if you needed it yet. I just went ahead and brought
Not
it.
yet, but I think I'll keep it here. We got our baby Belle. That's like, it's gonna
Kiva
become a
doesn't feel good.
tradition. Oh, what's wrong?
Well, she had her allergy thing earlier, and she's had it before, where her eyes get like kind of swelled.
Yeah.
But that's gone away. That's okay.
Okay.
But she has like a little rash on her tummy.
Oh.
It's just allergies.
Right.
But she didn't eat very much because I know she doesn't feel very good.
Okay.
But she still ate, so at least she still ate, but she didn't eat all of it.
Do we need to take it to the vet?
Not yet. Not now.
Okay.
This has happened
Maybe
before.
tomorrow morning?
Well, yeah,
Okay.
for sure. If she starts crying,
That's our
or
dog.
anything, then absolutely we'll take her. But
All right. Yeah.
but right now she's okay. She's not like throwing up or anything.
Okay.
She's just tired.
Well, keep me updated
Oh,
if
I will,
anything
for
changes. And also, B Buster gifted 5 Metatron memberships.
Oh my gosh!
So I
Thank
thought-
you so much.
Yeah, I thought that was very nice. Hail bringer of cheese. What is the dog name? Kiva.
Kiva.
One
like,
of the.
like the Irish name.
Yeah, Kiva. Who's that lady? Your wife will get mad. Yeah.
What's that?
Blessed are the cheese makers.
Yeah.
Yeah. For they shall inherit
Hi
the pizza.
everybody on Twitch. Hello, Saint Sir Nicholas.
Saint Nicholas is like one of those people that
Yeah.
doesn't miss any stream, whether it be
Absolutely.
Twitch, night, evening, afternoon, YouTube. Nicholas is everywhere.
Star Wind Yuki.
Oh yeah, that's a good name. Metapup. Yeah, the Metapup. We got two.
Oh man, yeah, we have 2 babies.
Yeah, one day our dream is to get a sausage dog.
A
What are
dachshund.
they called? A dachshund?
Yeah.
For me, they're sausage dogs. So we get a sausage dog, possibly one of those that is like black and brown.
That's correct. Froggy style, that's right.
Oh yeah, that's correct spelling. Very good.
Uh-huh.
And then we're gonna call it tiramisu,
Yeah.
but we'll call it misu.
Misu for sure. Oh my
Misu
god.
for sure. That's fantastic. That's fantastic. To have a sausage as a dog, I think is the best thing in the world. Thank you, Alexandra, for the donation. Why couldn't the
thank
Roman
you.
Empire? Why couldn't the Roman Empire conquer Scotland? In my opinion, to give you a short answer, so Scotland would be Caledonia in period. It's not that they couldn't; is that it wouldn't be financially viable. Because for the Romans to invest resources, whether it be manpower, all the money, logistics, to invade a land, there has to be a return that is higher than what they need to pay. So they will do it in areas that have silver mines. They will do it in areas that are very densely populated, easy to tax. The Scottish were kind of nuts. They were very strong warriors. I still think Rome could have taken them down, but it wasn't economically viable. And the Romans are not going to do it if they're not going to make enough money out of it. So if the Scots had gold mines everywhere, they would have gone. That's my answer to that. Prince, thank you for the support. Lectulus meus me vocat, et ego sec... Wow, it's entirely in Latin. Wow. Oro te beatam noctem vesperi. Hope my poor Latin wasn't too bad. Take care, everyone. I think it was really good. I think you did a very good work. Very Catholic. Yeah.
Good morning, Australia.
Good morning.
Good morning. Y'all are about to go into fall, aren't you? Is it
Oh,
starting
yeah,
to get a
they're
little cooler?
They're the other way around.
Starting to get a little cooler. What are some really nice like fall things that y'all have in Australia?
They like your Fila shirt.
Oh, thanks.
Yeah, the Picts, exactly, Fletcher. The Picts. Thorfinn screams freedom. I mean, I still think that I love Scottish people and Irish people. We laugh so much whenever I speak to any of them, but you're still a little nuts in the head, just like in Roman times, guys. You know, I say that. They're good sports.
I think they're actually already in fall.
Oh, they are?
I think so, because spring for us, I think, is fall for them.
Yeah.
And then summer is winter.
Right.
So I think they're already in fall.
Starwind Yuki says, can I just say I absolutely love Meta Wife's hair.
Oh my goodness! Thank you. I just washed it, so
Yeah.
I look like a founding father. I just washed it, and I did my curls on it, and they're very tight at the moment, but they will loosen up. But thank you so much. I look like I have just one big curl right here.
No, I think it's great. It looks great. It looks great. What's next up on the gameplay streams? So Cactus, funny enough, yesterday night I went live and I wanted to practice a little bit Ghouls and Ghosts, but in hard mode, which is really difficult, and I ended up finishing it. I finished it in hard difficulty. Sure, yeah, professional difficulty. I don't know how I did it. I recorded the whole thing, so I'm going to edit it and post it on the gaming channel. I have no idea how I did it, but I did. So now that that's done, I do enjoy still kind of learning it, because the next will be a no-death run. And then after that, it will be a speed run. I don't know if I can get to that point.
You should do a speed run stream. That'd be so fun.
I know, but you know how much I have to practice to do a speed. First, I need to learn how not to die, because if you die, the speed run doesn't work.
Yeah.
So first you need to do a no-death run.
Wifey's character arc, her face is always off cam. Yeah.
Yeah,
No one knows who I am.
exactly. Yeah.
Now here I am.
But I would love to learn a speed run, because I love Ghouls and Ghosts. I love that game. I absolutely love it. So I was impressed that I managed to finish it in hard mode.
A Meadow Wife teeth reveal.
What's the teeth reveal? Yeah. Her teeth are fantastic.
I had braces.
Yeah. So yeah.
Oh yeah, quite curly, thick and floofy. Curly hair is really nice. I love the look of curly hair.
Right.
What are Picts?
Picts, the ancient Scots, one of the
that's
populations,
right.
one of the population of that area.
Is it like the Picts and the Pelts?
I don't know.
No.
But yeah. Benjamin Franklin. Let's see. Pictish art is incredible for sure. Good to see you here, Evil Black. By the way, thank you for supporting the stream so many times. You've come because I don't forget. I don't forget the people who support. I never do. So yeah, hey.
Braces are so, yeah, man. Are you watching on YouTube and on Twitch?
Oh, Nicholas?
Yeah.
Oh yeah, he watches everywhere.
Oh my
Nicholas is
goodness.
omnipresent. He's like a Catholic saint.
Wow.
Omnipresent.
MVP. Oh, what's your favorite Italian accent? And your least favorite?
Yeah. Oh, me?
Yeah, 'cause
Oh, we
the
can do both.
Fletcher
Oh, I didn't
has-
see it. Yeah, I didn't see it. What's my favorite Italian accent? Standard. I think standard is the most, so basically accentless, if you want to put it that way. But to me, standard is the most beautiful way of speaking Italian. After that, I don't know, maybe Florentine would be my favorite. Yeah.
Cool.
It sounds beautiful to me.
Do you have a least favorite?
A least favorite? Ooh, I don't want to insult anyone, so no,
okay.
I'm not going to say it. But yeah. Favorite book recommendation? Oh gosh, I don't know. I wouldn't know.
For me,
Yeah.
well, you what would you recommend?
Oh, no, I don't know.
Probably Drizzt.
Oh,
For
well,
you.
yeah, for fantasy, yes. I didn't know what type of books, if it was like historical or whatnot.
So like for you probably Drizzt. Well, what was their name?
Oh, I don't know. Adi Tepesh.
You've opened quite a can of worms.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so I'm gonna give you.
Maybe a couple. Yeah, that's not going to 10. Maybe a couple.
Okay, well first let's say what genre?
Yeah,
Addie.
exactly. El Romano is pretty good. Yeah, I like Roman accent.
I love Rome so
Yeah,
much.
she loves it. Rome is her favorite city in
Yeah.
Italy.
They're probably Rome and then Milano.
Milano, sì, sì. We like going to Milan. We have next time we go to Italy, we're definitely going to spend some days in Rome and Milan. Like we go to visit my dad in Sicily and family, and then we can go to
Just say Lord of the Rings, yeah, literally.
Milan. Yeah.
Oh, fantasy. Okay, so anything by Brando Sando is really good. Like
Yeah.
Brandon Sanderson, the
Yeah.
Starlight Archive.
Yeah.
Anything like the Cosmere, like the Mistborn trilogy, if you haven't read that. Obviously Lord of the Rings, but Lord of the Rings is like, the book is crazy. The book is like nothing similar to the movie. But also, if you're into like sci-fi fantasy, then I would highly recommend the Red Rising series by Pierce Brown. It's like one of my new obsessions. Red Rising.
Red
Wheel of
Rising.
Time. I haven't read Wheel of Time, but it's like a classic.
Do you have a favorite Warhammer army?
Oh, I don't know. Probably what is it? The demons.
No, I don't think you.
Inferno.
Chaos? Chaos?
Oh yes.
Yeah, Inferno would be Heroes of Might and Magic, but
Yeah.
Chaos.
I like the ones that look the craziest. Whenever I play anything like D&D or like Diablo, anything that I can like create a character, or if there's like characters to choose from, I always want to do anything that's like weird, like
Yeah.
the furthest away from human that you can get.
Yeah, because when you choose Chaos, I like playing. I mean, I'm a high elf player, but I do have a Chaos army that I actually bought just so that I could give it to someone, so that I could play my armies against someone else if they didn't have an army. So I do have a Chaos army, but it's more of a mortal Chaos because I like Chaos warriors. I like the way they're built with the armor and whatnot. But yeah, if you have to choose when I build one with a lot of demons, then you would have to choose a demon like a Chaos god.
Yeah.
But if you want it to be like super weird, sorry.
Well, I like the demons, or it can be like vampires, or I don't know if
Yeah.
vampires are in. that.
Vampires would be the undead. Vampire Lords is the undead army. Maybe you would like that. Vampire Lords
Yeah.
rather than Chaos. But if you want something weird, I'm just trying to think, because Khorne is not the weirdest one. Maybe Nurgle is the weirdest one. It's all like crazy mutated demons.
I mean, when it, like Lord of the Rings, like, yes, they do have like very similar, like, obviously the movie follows the book, but like there's no Tom Bombadil in the movies. There's no like even the story of like Arwen and Aragorn is like so much, is a lot different from the movies to the, like, from the book to the movie. And of course they had to take out a lot of stuff, but like Tolkien just really loved to just go off on like a million side tangents and never get to the point. And
Yeah.
you don't even like, you think there's a lot of walking in the movies, there's like 3 times more walking in the book. And it's just like they're both great, but they are obviously they're very similar, but there's just some things that are different. I could talk about it for a long time,
Yeah.
but I know you don't want me to. So.
No, you can. I wasn't interrupting. I wanted just to
Yeah, of
respond to
course.
this. So Para says, sei mai stato a Malta? So have you ever been to Malta? No, believe it or
I
not.
want to go to Malta.
Yeah, that would be interesting. They to see like they have a few castles that we could visit in Malta. So yeah, Maltese language is
Yeah,
Yeah.
it's really cool.
yeah. I don't understand anything.
No, I'm not Italian. I'm American.
No, she's American.
Can you imagine? That would be like the best American accent.
Yeah, we're like, wow. How did you learn it? You say Malta is boring? No, I don't think it's boring. If you like history, it can't be boring. Yeah, group trip to Malta.
Oh, group trip. Group trip.
Yeah, let's all go to Malta. 980,000 people to Malta. Could you imagine that? You are from Malta. There you go. Hey, Anukis. Good to have you here then.
Oh, everyone's in it. Vorrei.
Where is it? Oh, this?
That one, yeah.
Sì, vorrei seguire la live. I would like to follow the live until the end, but I am... He's falling asleep.
Buonanotte.
Buonanotte, Ippoliska.
Ipoliska, sogni d'oro.
Sogni d'oro, buonanotte. Let's see. If that's the case, let's just take it. I mean, 1 million is a massive invasion, guys. That would be an invasion. 1 million noble ones.
Oh my goodness.
What an invasion. Would,
The noble ones are coming.
yeah,
The
alert,
noble ones are coming.
alert the local
Oh
authorities.
my god.
So, yeah.
Okay, y'all. I'm gonna go.
You sure?
Unless you want me to stay.
Oh, you can stay a little longer. If you want. Unless you wanted to read. Oh, Anukis is half Italian. It makes sense. I mean, Malta's kind of close. Thank you. Love the channel. Extremely interesting subjects. Thank you so much, Anukis. Appreciate that.
Oh my god, I have to. Do the epic rap battles, are they still even a thing? Do they still do them? Or is this like an older one? Because I've never seen that one.
Fletcher asks, interesting, Sogni d'oro. That's the Italian version of Sweet Dreams. Yeah, it means golden dreams. It's the Italian version of Sweet Dreams, exactly. SDFU, FFS. Thank you for the donation. Can we agree that Game of Thrones was just J.R.R. Martin continually painting himself into story corners and then including a Deus Ex Machina to save him? I mean, I don't know. I haven't read it that deeply to be able to create an analysis. Clearly, he was inspired by a lot of actual real event medieval history, like the War of the Roses. Now, whether or not he actually did, I don't know. You would need a psychologist probably to review that. But thank you for the support, mate.
Ooh, half Italian, half Greek.
Very
That's
cool.
awesome.
Yeah, very cool. Love that. Yeah, I'd like to review something Slavic eventually.
Ooh,
I mean,
yeah.
outside my field of expertise, but sure.
So in the book series that I'm currently reading, it's set in Ireland, and it's set in Cork, which I believe is in the south. I could be wrong, but there's a couple parts where they speak the native language, and it sounds so cool because the voice actors that do the audiobook,
Right.
they're also Irish.
Oh, cool.
So they do like in the native language, and I didn't even know what it was called. Now this book is set in like 2004, 2002. So I mean, it's set in like the early 2000s. And if anyone here is from Ireland, or if you live in Ireland, is it now just pronounced like, is it Gaelic or is it like Oskelga?
Well, let us.
And
let
I'm
us
just
know.
curious because I love that.
I think they're two different words, right?
Yeah, because the girl, there was a girl, and she was like, well, my friend spoke in our native language, Oskelga. And
Oh,
I
I
don't know
see.
if that's like a different word for it, or...
Maybe it's the word in the language to.
Oh, maybe.
They say yes. So cool.
Yeah, Cork is southernmost part, yeah.
I see. Yeah, cool. I would love to visit Ireland at one
Oh
point.
my god, me too.
We even have the metal singer, the lead singer of the Cruachan metal group. It's like Celtic metal group. They're very popular in Ireland. And he's a good friend. And every time he says, I wish you were here, we could play some video games, drink some beer, Guinness, whatnot. So if we ever go to Ireland, we got to go visit him.
We'll go to the pub and just say, a pint of the black stuff.
Yeah.
That's Guinness.
Yeah, I know, of course.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, of course. Yeah.
Have you ever had Guinness?
Of course, yes.
Do you like it?
I do.
Yeah.
Yeah. I think I even had it with... No, I actually did have it with you, and we spilled it when we went in Rome to the Irish pub. Do you remember that?
No. Okay, that's so funny.
Yeah.
We were in Rome, and we went to, like, an Irish pub, and we got...
Yeah.
Oh, did I get, like, fish and chips, maybe?
I don't remember what we ate, yeah,
But that was just so funny to see in the middle of Rome, Irish pub.
Yeah, we liked it.
It was really good.
That was fun. And,
everyone in there spoke English?
Who? Where? Oh, yeah, of course. Yeah, absolutely. I think one of the people was American. One of the
but he
owners.
also,
Yeah.
Yeah, he was there with his wife. Or,
Cool.
like, he moved there for his wife.
Yeah.
I have family in Ireland. Not now, but, like, way back.
Yeah, because you are of German and Irish
Yeah.
ancestry, heritage. That's
I am.
where they're from. That's where she gets the, I guess, green eyes.
I think I'm more German than I am Irish because
Sure.
my dad's last name before he changed it was, like, super German.
No, I know, but I wonder if his family is originally from Ireland or is from your
Oh,
mother's.
he's from Germany.
So it's your mum's
My mom
side.
is Irish.
Makes sense.
But my dad is, like, super German.
Yeah, they're basically barbarians, but, you know, from a, from a Roman perspective, it doesn't matter. You could just say Irish, German, no, barbarians. You know, one word, mean everyone. Fantastic. So, yeah. Not so green. Love you guys. Thank you. And thank you, Bruce Targaryen. There you go.
Bruce Targaryen. Look at that.
Targaryen. He's talking about Game of Thrones. Thank you for the support. We even got the support of the Targaryens, guys. I mean,
That's a big deal.
Hello. What is your stance on trans people being part of Christianity? Do you think transgender people are incompatible with Christian teachings? No, I don't think any human being is incompatible with Christian teachings. I think
way.
that
Of course.
church should be a place where anyone can go because we are all sinners. With that being said, of course, within traditional Christianity, there are some ideas that I don't think should change. So when you go to church because you want to change some aspects in order to conform to the will of God. That's how I see it. But no, if I see someone who is, as you are asking me, someone is transgender, I wouldn't tell him you're banned from Christianity, because that is not how the grace of God works, in my opinion. I am very traditionalist when it comes to marriage and that kind of stuff, but I would still be welcoming to people in the sense that, yes, I wouldn't tell someone you can't go to church.
I think church is for everybody.
Not to mention Jesus spent most of his time, I wanted to say, Jesus spent most of his time with those who needed him the most, rather than with the people that were leading a perfect, sinless life, although that's impossible for any human. So yeah, as usual, you could imagine it's a bit of a moderate position, mine, as usual. So not too accepting, but also not hateful in any way. So that's my position.
I think Jesus is for everybody.
For sure, yeah, absolutely. That's the beauty of the gospel of Jesus. I do see, and I know why you're asking that question, I've seen those type of preachers. Yeah, I don't agree with those type of preachers that go nuts when it comes to so I know why you're asking it. So I'm not all the way to that side. I'm still a traditionalist, but I'm a good person when it comes to the beauty of Jesus's real message, not what some people use. So that I would leave it at that. But thank you for the question. Let's see. Adi says, not religious, not anti-religious, but seeing your approach to it moves me truly. But thank you. I appreciate that. Thank you very much. Thank you. Has Metatron watched the movie Conclave that came out last year? I didn't. Everyone has been mentioning it. There is a movie.
We should Baron.
Watch it, yeah. Thank you, STFU, for the donation. If you want a good laugh, look up The Great Dublin Fire. It's not funny because people died, of course. May they rest in peace. But how they died. In fact, it is a theory on source of them SHT faced. I don't know. I know I was trying not to say it because I'm streaming.
Yeah, I didn't say that.
It's fine. But yeah, no, I don't know. I'll have to look it up. Yeah, sure. Great Dublin Fire. I see. You recommend it too, David? Well, definitely we'll do that. Thank you, Kristen Armala. I appreciate that. Can I put a bust of you in my town center? Thank you. Thank you, Mr. 100. I appreciate that. I appreciate that. So yeah.
So what did y'all decide about the Pope? What do you think of him? Does he speak good Latin?
I'll tell you. Yeah, no, I think he did a very good job.
Yeah?
On that video alone, the first benediction, he spoke 4 languages.
What is so English, Spanish, Italian, and...
Yeah, actually, on that one, I didn't even get to the section in English. I forgot about that. But yeah, so he does speak, of course, he's a native English speaker. We'll have to see if he has a Chicago accent. You'll have to tell me that. We'll see that maybe. But his Italian was very well articulated, well pronounced. He sounds foreign, but not too much.
Right.
So someone who is like, you can tell he's not Italian, but is pretty good and very clear.
He's quite young.
Is he? I wouldn't consider him young, but...
Well, in my head, I mean, I know nothing of the
Right.
popes, but I've always seen them be like 70 something.
Isn't he? What?
Man, if he's 70 something,
is he in his
good.
60s maybe?
I don't know. Maybe he is.
He's
70.
69. There you go.
Oh, 60.
Yeah, so 69. Yeah.
Maybe. I mean, yeah. Dang, for 69, I thought he was like
Yeah.
the 60.
You think he's 63? Well, I don't know what age he is. I think he's in his 60s, yeah, I would say. So, yeah, I guess, depending. There was a pope that was very young in history. Maybe there's something we could... The young pope, they even call him like that,
Yeah, because I was thinking, like, you know, you see the other popes, and, like, Francis was, like, 88.
Was he?
I think that he was 88
goodness.
when he passed, right?
Oh, when he passed, not when he became
No,
pope.
I think it might have been, like, what,
Someone
80?
is saying 66. Okay, guys, he's in his 60s. Let's put it this way, because I haven't got a clue. But regardless.
I'm the
Yeah,
Pope,
so, yeah. But yeah, no, as I was saying, what was I saying? So his Italian was really good. His Latin was very well pronounced. There were some imperfections, but then again, he was speaking in front of tens of thousands of people.
For sure.
So I would have definitely messed up a few times if maybe I would have cracked my voice.
Oh, I would have too. I would
You
have
know?
been like, this is a lot.
So there is that. I can speak in front of a camera, but in front of the entirety of St. Peter's, I don't know. And then what else? He spoke Spanish, and everyone here, there were some native speakers. They said it was very clear Spanish. So that was nice. I think it's good. I think his language skills are legit.
Oh, yeah, I imagine.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Red says, evening, came in a bit late, so not sure if you talked about it, but are you planning on reacting to Joe Rogan podcast with Dr. Zahi? Yeah, I just saw it on X before going live. So possibly. The only problem with my reaction to Joe Rogan, I'll have to see if I'm actually whitelisted, like I hope I am, or if it's going to get copy claimed first and then I need to wait some days. But I'll try and do a reaction to Joe Rogan. It's just that I can't do it on live stream because then the live stream gets blocked. That's what happens. So there is that. But I will do it offline, then I'll upload it. And then if it does, because that would be interesting. The person they're talking about is like the most famous Egyptian archaeologist.
Ooh.
But it's a little bit of a controversial figure.
Why doesn't this guy weigh in on the pyramids?
Under the things under the pyramids.
Yeah.
Knowing the guy, he would completely dismiss it.
Really?
He seems to be like, he's an archaeologist, but he doesn't really, I think anything that goes outside his own control, he doesn't usually, the way I remember about him is that he doesn't really, he's like, I know, I tell you, type of thing.
Yeah.
But I am interested. I'm sure Joe Rogan asked him. So I would be very interested in seeing what he thinks. So there's that. Yeah, Zahi Hawass. Yeah, that guy. He's on Joe Rogan. And that's usually because Joe Rogan had at least 17 times he had Graham Hancock. So it would be interesting to see the other side now and see what he thinks. But I really hope he asks him about the pyramid, the structures under the pyramids. I really hope he asks him. But yeah, it's a very good point. I'll do a reaction. I'll film it offline, maybe tomorrow.
Hey,
And
you're only 4 steps away from your goal on Twitter.
ooh, that's right. No, that's the points.
Oh,
But yeah,
why here?
I know that's the points.
Oh,
That's the points. I don't
Anyways.
know. Oh, I just removed
didn't
it.
know.
I didn't.
okay. Anyways, I'm gonna go.
But thank you for joining the stream.
Thank you for having me. Bye, everybody. Bye, chat. Have
Bye.
a good night. Bye.
And then I can have the cheese. There is a dog. I heard the dog.
Yeah, he's up there.
Oh, let me call him. We need to have.
Come here,
Winston. Oh, guys, we've got the Pomeranian. Winston. Winston. That's it. Hello. Look who we have got. Today's a special stream.
Hi,
Let's see if I can turn him around. That's Winston, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to the stream, my dear Winston. He's a little confused.
It's okay, buddy. You're
He's
fine.
a little confused.
You're okay, buddy.
Yeah. Winston is fantastic. Okay. He loves being held, by the way. Let me see. If I hold him like this.
Here, let me.
No. If I hold him, he loves being held. So when you hold him, you can walk around. We do little tours of the house. You just hold him, and he just loves it. He just loves it.
You're such a good boy.
Yeah, he's a good boy.
So it's so
I'll give
funny
you-
though
I'll give you
because
this.
his name is Winston, but I
Yes.
literally just call him Winton. He loves for me to hold him out like this.
Yeah.
Like I don't know why. He just loves to be out like this.
Yeah, he's very trusting. Pollo panato, that's another way I call him. Breaded chicken. Pollo panato. I call him Chick-fil-A.
Chick-fil-A.
Chick-fil-A, yeah. Chick-fil-A. It's like the dog is the normal one and the humans are behaving like idiots. That's what happens
Like, I don't
with a dog
understand.
like that. Thank you, Baron, for the support. Speaking of language, play Enotria, the last song. Yeah, I know. I need to find time. First, I need to find space to install it because my SSD is exploding right now.
I'm just gonna leave him like that.
Yeah, he's my pollo panato. Also, he loves this. He loves this. There you go. There you go.
My baby.
So there is that.
I know I said that I was gonna leave, but he's here.
But now he's here.
But now he's here right now.
Yeah. That's Winston with us.
He's so
It's a very family. It's a family stream, guys. It's a family stream. Family stream.
He's a mama's boy.
Yeah. Let me just check one thing very quickly.
Isn't
Yeah.
that right, buddy?
Yeah, 4 more subscribers gone. It's
Oh,
just.
Costa, don't
I know,
keep
but
looking at it.
and I understand, but I'm trying to share it with the community to let them know that what's happening. It's just so weird. It really is weird. If it were up to Winston, he would subscribe. He would never have my subscribers go down if it was up to Winston.
If it was up to Winston, all he would do is sleep
Yeah,
and
exactly.
poop
Yeah,
and eat
yeah.
and play.
He's great. He's great. How's the temperature right now where you guys live? Not
Hot.
Is it? Oh yeah, it's a bit hot. Yeah, but not very hot. Like it's not as hot as back home.
It was 90.
I know, but Sicily, we would be melting on the street right now.
90 degrees is like 30 something, like 30
Right.
or something.
Right.
It's very hot.
But yes, it's hot. Yeah.
Are we extroverted? I think
Yeah,
we are.
yeah.
We're both. I think we're like both. We're like introverted extroverts.
I guess.
Because like we both like to be home and stuff.
True.
but
Yeah.
We do like to hang. We do like to see friends and
Yeah, we're nerds who love to stay home and play video games. Both of us, by the way. But then it's nice sometimes to see people. It's just that we have a social battery that easily gets drained, right? So like we will play, we will have fun, but then we're like, okay, we need a couple of days now. Just
don't talk to me.
yeah, let's just play and have a good time.
Dream Heart Cat says hi Winton, and I said hi back. Winton waved. Yeah, you did, buddy.
Do you find acceptable Sicilian food in the US?
Oh,
Man, Sicilian specifically, I don't know if I've ever found exactly Sicilian food, like arancine, I guess. I haven't found that. Well, cannoli.
Yes,
What?
we did have arancine. Remember that one
But where?
Italian restaurant in Nashville when we went?
Was it good?
Yes.
Did I
you
like the
loved
arancine?
it.
Oh, I loved it. I loved it, but they're great in Nashville. Yeah.
Because remember when we went into Nashville last year, we went to that really fancy Italian restaurant, and they were having like their specials were like Sicilian themed.
Yeah. Yeah.
So we had the
Arancine.
yeah.
See. Daniel Edwards says, I feel that social battery bit same here. Yeah, exactly. And then you say, what's the temperature reach in Sicily in the summer? 40, 42 Celsius.
So that's
Celsius.
Like over
Let me see exactly how much it is because I'm never good at.
or is it like?
What's 42 Celsius into Fahrenheit? There you go. It would be 107. That's the maximum, I think. maybe even 45 now that I think about it. Sometimes when it's like in an area with a lot of asphalt, it can go up to 113. But that's not in rural areas, it doesn't. But it's like the middle of the city with asphalt and cars. It does get that heavy, that hot. Yeah, 45 is the hottest I think I've ever experienced in Sicily.
That we
And
wouldn't leave the house if it was 114 degrees.
like Texas weather, yeah, there we go.
So
Yes.
Texas, oh my God.
But then again, I think a difference between Sicilian hot weather and Texas, Tennessee, I guess Kentucky, is that we are an island, so it's also extremely humid.
Well, Tennessee is very humid.
But it's never going to be as humid as an island.
Well,
Yeah, 100%. 100%. I guarantee.
We do have beaches, though.
No, I know, but still, it's... And besides, what beaches do you have in Tennessee?
Tennessee Beach.
But-
We have beaches, right?
I don't know. Do you
I
even
think
touch
so.
the sea? I don't think you touch the
I don't.
sea
We do-
anywhere.
it must be like... No, we don't.
Yeah, I don't think you do. I really
Well,
don't think.
Alabama has a beach.
Maybe in the south, I guess. I don't know. But as I say, it's yeah. And you say Texas gets pretty high humidity compared to landlocked states. No, I
Yeah.
believe that, but I still don't think you get the same level of humidity as Sicily. We're surrounded by the sea. It really gets like I'm talking over like a 90%, 92% humidity. It's crazy. 95 sometimes.
Yeah, OG Kaz.
They
yeah.
have beaches on lakes. There you go.
Yeah.
You guys.
See, I knew I wasn't crazy.
No. I never do. I'm just saying I don't think you reach the ocean. That's all.
No.
Yeah.
Yeah, it does get really hot in Sicily, especially because I was there a few years ago in
Yep.
the summertime, and it is like it's miserable because like
Yeah.
especially in like July and August, you get the wind from Africa
Mm.
coming in. Like the winds just kind of go from Africa up to Sicily, and it's just like
Yep.
oh my God.
Yes, we have a wind called Scirocco that comes directly from northern Africa. In fact, I think it originates further in the core of Africa, if I'm not wrong. And it's insane. When that happens, you know what the feeling is. And again, maybe in Texas you have the same experience. But in Sicily, when it's hit by Scirocco, and we actually get the sand from the Sahara Desert, we do get it in the streets, a little bit. When you open the window, it's like opening an oven.
Literally.
It's the same feeling because it's windy and it's extremely hot. So I don't suggest Sicily in August. I suggest Sicily in spring. It's gorgeous and it's Mediterranean and you get the sea and you get the beautiful food and sunny all the time. But August, I would say maybe go to Milan or and even Milan gets hot, in fact. Maybe go
Yeah.
to Switzerland.
Yeah, see, even Alabama has beaches. It has
There you
Gulf
go.
Shores.
Lovely.
So
Yeah, I didn't know.
And then
You hate humidity, the llama? I see.
me
I
too,
understand.
It always
Yeah.
messes up my hair.
Sure. And I mean, I guess I could relate to. It's actually kind of funny about being a man with long hair is that I can relate to topics that women talk about when it has to do with long hair. And that's kind of funny because I can relate to that. I guess every metalhead can, but it's kind of funny. Yeah.
Okay, I'm actually gonna go this time.
All right. No problem.
Bye, everybody. Bye, chat. Have
Bye.
a good night.
Bye. Makarivs on Twitch says in Brazil, cannoli is always called that way, even if it's singular. Yeah, they do that in England. They do that in America. It's just the cannoli is plural, just like panini is plural in Italian. So singular would be cannolo, panino, and that's how it is. So to me, it always sounds strange, and I understand. It's fine. It's an imported word, so it's not a big deal. But whenever someone says, I would like a panino, I would like a panini, to me sounds wrong because it's like saying, I want a sandwiches. That's what it sounds to me, to my ear. So that's why it sounds weird. You love sfogliatelle? Yeah, the best sfogliatelle are in Naples. Top notch. Top notch. Yeah, give me one cannoli. It's so strange. It's so strange. It's basically because you imported the word. And I think the reason is because usually in cafes, restaurants, bars in Italy, when they're selling panini, it's not like they're selling one. So the way they write it on those little signs, you can see them as well, like the little plaques that you see at the airport. They always say panini because there are many. They're selling many, right? That's why it's usually written in the plural. That's how it is. Yeah. Can I has cheeseburgers? When we joke, we actually do it on purpose. You can has. We do that as a joke with my wife sometimes in English. So yeah. True, yes. People think it's like deer and ninja, singular and plural are the same. Yeah, in English has some weird. You don't say two deers. It is and that's the word armor, however, and the word fish. You have to be careful because even though it's true that there are like money, you don't say monies. It's always in the singular form, even because it's a kind of a concept. It's an uncountable noun. So that's correct. Yeah, that one you can't pluralize. You can't pluralize deer. You can't pluralize sheep, the animal. You can't pluralize it. You don't have two sheeps. That would be wrong. But what's interesting is fish. You can use it this way. You can say there is a lot of fish in the sea, which means it's plural, but you don't need to pluralize it. But if there are different species, then fishes is more correct. So they're both correct. And I've been corrected in the past. I would be like, I don't know, I don't know which one I prefer among these fishes. And then people are like, no, fishes is wrong. It's fish. No, you're wrong. Then I knew. So that's how it works. And I think there is another one like that in English. Yes, armor. So armor technically is not pluralized, right? So you wouldn't say I have two armors. You would say I have two sets of armor. That's more colloquially correct. However, the one moment, Nicholas, please give me time to finish the sentence before I read your correction. However, I was saying in academic works, you do find armors plural. You do. So I think it's more like academic terminology where you do find armors pluralized, although in everyday language, normally it's armor. Now, you were saying some people do say monies. Well, just because some people say it, it doesn't mean. I mean, people say a lot of stuff. But whatever, people say "was you" instead of "were you." But anyways, you say especially for when there are different currencies in a specific situation like that. I get it. But in everyday language, like in other situations, it's not like you can say I have a lot of monies. That would be factually wrong. That would be wrong. But I guess when you're talking currencies, if you say so, then I believe you. Mathematics seems to always be plural. In the shortened version in the US, it's math. In England, it's maths. So I guess in that situation, it's region specific. It's like area specific. So in the US, it's correct to say math. I study math. I'm not good at math. But in the UK, they do say maths. Plural. In that case, even the shortened form. So I guess it kind of depends. Give me monies. I guess, yeah. Informal speech allows you to do a lot of things. So there is that. In informal speech, as I say, we joke with my wife, you can has I has it? Yeah, that's fine. Thank you. Oh, thank you for becoming a member, STFU. I really appreciate that. Thank you so much. Do remember that soon we'll switch into the 30 minutes for members chat. So there is that. You flunked maths. I see. Yeah, I wasn't very good at maths myself. Maths sounds wrong to me. Yeah, I understand that, Jimmy, but that's how they say. It's like, it's also the spelling. I think when I write with the English spelling. So I do add the U in color and the U in flavor and the U in armor. Except for the book that I'm writing now, I've actually decided to use American spelling in the book I'm writing. I've been writing a book because the biggest chunk of my audience is from the United States. So considering the fact that you are the target of course, of these books, I actually decided to follow majority in that case. I think as long as you stick to one whenever you're writing, then it's correct. If you mismatch, as a former English teacher, I would tell you don't mismatch because then it's weird. Yeah. Thank you, Legion Thunder, for becoming a member. I really appreciate that. Yeah. Okay, that's fine that monies as an option is in the Cambridge Dictionary. You still can't say I have a lot of monies, in my opinion. Again, maybe I'm wrong because I'm not native. So if you guys think that I'm wrong and you can say, oh, this costs a lot of monies, if you think that that's correct, to me sounds wrong, but whatever. I'm not going to argue for half an hour during the stream or whether or not you can say money or monies. I think most people will use singular form. Money is important rather than monies are important. Or like money is a necessary evil rather than monies are a necessary evil. I think that just sounds correct, more correct to me. But hey, if there is a technical scenario in which you can use monies, then great. It's a learning opportunity. Or like maybe an informal situation when you're talking about it, then that's fine. Yeah. Canadians use the, oh, you spell like in England? You add the U, that's cool. Neighbor, that's another one, yeah, that I would add a U naturally as well. Yeah, I would do that. That's interesting, Thunderwing. So you say I'm English and I use American spelling online, but would use English spelling on paper. I understand. I wonder how many people feel that way. Because, I mean, at the end of the day, American spelling within the US is the correct way of spelling. So there is that. But yeah. Fascinating stuff. Language is always fascinating. Maths, I understand the appeal to it from, like, I don't know, people that can do very complicated mathematical calculations or solve problems with maths. I've always found them inspiring. Like, it really gives you the idea of, wow, this guy's really intelligent. It's a different type of intelligence. There are many different types of intelligence. But then again, I always get that feeling. So I understand the appeal of maths. It's just that for me, it was always boring, at least as a child. Now, given some of you oftentimes tell me in chat that you hated history in school when you were studying it at school, but now you love it. So sometimes maybe it could be due to the teacher. So perhaps the fact that I found maths really boring, maybe it's not because I don't like maths. Maybe it's because the teacher didn't help me find the beauty of math. Maybe that's what it is, because I see so many people that tell me like, oh, I love history now, but when I was in middle school and high school, I absolutely despised those hours. At that point, it's not a you problem, it's the teacher's problem. Thank you, Bruce Targaryen, for becoming a member. I freaking love your name, mate. That's fun. Yeah. Yeah, I mean, history is good. I love history. You can that is also true. Makarev, you can change your mind with age. That's also possible. Yeah, life experiences and whatnot. You could, yeah, definitely. So yeah. History C Rain says, yeah, history teachers really have to get there and make you feel you're there. I agree. Like, I think if I was, because again, I'm not obviously a math teacher, but I am an educator. So the way I tried to have my students when I was in school teaching, when I was teaching at school, the way I tried to get my students involved, sometimes I brought the helmets, Roman armor in school, and I had the student put on the helmet. Like, I did that kind of stuff, and they loved it. They absolutely loved it. So maybe if I was a math teacher, I would have my students watch the movie A Beautiful Mind, because that's the very first time that I thought to myself, you know what, maybe math is interesting. And that movie really worked with me. So maybe I would have done that, because movies can do that. A good movie, great movie, exactly. A good movie can really change your perspective on something, just like a good video game can, particularly when it's a video game that is story-based rather than like I don't know, Call of Duty is not gonna, you can have a lot of fun with it, but a Call of Duty is a different experience from playing, say, one of those Final Fantasy games, or this, what is it called, Expedition 33, I'm told, is one of these. Like, there are some games that are just an experience. Like, you play them, and when you finish it, you're like, man, I feel like a different person now. And I think you can relate to that. Like, I'm sure there is at least one game in your life that did that to you. At least for me, it's several. And so when a game has a great story and you really feel connected to the characters, and then it gives you new perspectives, and it really allows you to then start appreciating things. Like maybe you played a video game that was set in the Middle Ages, and now you freaking love the Middle Ages. You're like, man, the castles are amazing. And then you want to go and visit castles in real life because of the game. Well, the game did that for you. It unlocked the passion that you had the potential to discover, but the teachers didn't allow you, didn't do it. And of course, I say that as a former teacher. Teachers fail sometimes, and that's what they should do. Because at the end of the day, how much of those years, unless you become like you do it like a university career on a specific subject, how much of the actual information do you remember from school? So at the end of the day, that's why when I was a teacher, if a student doesn't remember a date, I'm not gonna, okay, 1066, Battle of Hastings. It's not a big deal if the student doesn't remember the date. What I want to do is unlock passion, because that's gonna stay. The date is gonna go. The date is gonna go, unless you find like a special connection to that date. And there are ways to do it, by the way, to create that connection in your mind. But at the end of the day, yeah, that's how I feel. Yeah. So to me, that's the mission of a teacher. You want the students to remember the overall ideas, great, but I think your job is to unlock the passion, so then the student can continue, and because now they love it, they will study for a lifetime, right? The little details, like, yeah, how many hours have we spent, like all yeah, and then we forget a lot of it. Unless you become a professional on that field, but then you will only remember that subject, and all the other subjects completely gone. That's the problem with how the education system is structured. I can speak about Italy, maybe America, maybe the UK. I've seen how it works in Japan. It's like checkboxes. Yeah, we've studied this next. Yeah, we've done this next. You do your checkboxes. So then we got the budget, everyone got the salary, the students have done what they needed to do, but it's not about the actual development of the individual, which is what teaching should be. You develop an individual, and you turn, particularly when you work with the younger generation, then you're really building the next leaders, the next doctors, the next lawyers, the next historians, the next engineers, the next people that will actually, politicians and whatnot. So, but it is what it is. I mean, yeah. It is kind of a situation rare, like teach a man to fish. Yeah, I agree. That too. It's cool stuff, yeah. Absolutely, Adi. That's a very good point. You say living through it is what makes it embedded in you. Exactly, which is why I think, wouldn't it be better? Imagine this for a moment. This is going to sound kind of crazy, but imagine this for a moment. You are a teacher and you're going to teach the Battle of Hastings. Maybe not the Battle of Hastings. Well, yeah, let's do the Battle of Hastings for a moment. To your students, they are 14-year-olds. And there's a couple of students are also doing this, and the teacher's not even looking, and the rest are like, one is reading, everyone else is bored, half of the class looks out the window, and then end of the lesson. How much are they gonna learn about that? Nothing. Instead, imagine if you're like, you have the students play a video game. They play a video game that represents the battle. Half the class plays as the Anglo-Saxon, the other half is Team Norman, right? I swear to you, they're gonna remember everything about it. And that would be one of the cases, if they're not too young, where I might even consider implementing some VR. Maybe for description, if you're doing language, I used to do this a lot actually with students that were, if they're too young, no. But if they're like 15, whatever, you give them VR so they can see an environment, and then you study the words. First time they try and describe, they're missing the words, so they take it off, they had a good time. Let's review. What couldn't you say? Oh, I couldn't say tree, bush, cavern, cave, river, cloud. All right, let's study it. Let's try round 2, do it again, new word, vocabulary, boom. That's how you teach. I would have totally done it. Man, could you imagine that? Because they're not going to forget. It's just that people don't have that mentality. Headmasters of a school, they'll be like, no, what you do? Page 4. William the Conqueror to this age, 1066, invaded. Okay, great. Yeah, teachers. Yeah, like the students are going to remember any of that. Hey, we do YouTube. At least we can do it on YouTube, where I don't have a headmaster anymore to deal with, and so I can do whatever I want on YouTube. We can do whatever I want. We can do whatever we want, and that's great. The Penguin, thank you for the support. Please use red light instead of blue. I don't have blue light blocking glasses yet. My eyes. Quote from SpongeBob. SpongeBob. I don't even know if it's true, the whole blue light thing, by the way. I know you're joking, but I'm saying I don't even know if it's true. Good stuff. Yeah, Samurai Warriors, excellent game. Man, that would be the. Could you imagine if the homework was you gotta finish this first 2 missions of this game? That would be great. Yeah, it's been debunked. That's what I thought, Norman. That's what I thought. But I don't know. I'm not an expert on blue light and yellow light and red light. I don't know, guys. No idea. I haven't got a clue. Anyways, 7:29. All right, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to switch next 30 minutes, which usually go by so fast is insane. Next 30 minutes, we're going to go into members only chat. So anyone who has become a member, anyone else can still stay, watch. Absolutely, you're more than welcome. I'm going to switch the chat, however, to members only so we can focus on members. And big thank you, of course, to the members for supporting the show. As always, have a nice evening, Dakus, of course. And so next 30 minutes, we're going to do that. Then we're going to revert back to normal. And we might do a little bit of watching as well. And we can comment on Tobias Capwell talking about KCD2. That's one thing I'd like to do as well. We could do it during this section. And yeah, so let's see. As I always we always play with this. We always use this game. And let's see who's going to be the last regular chat that is going to be able to slip a comment in before I click. Let's give it a try. In 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, go. Boom! The winner is Matt W with the comment first. Man, that's always fun to do. I should probably do the other way around. When I'm about to re-unlock after the 30 minutes, we could re-unlock the situation and see who's the first one to comment from the non-members. I think that would be a great idea. That would be really funny, actually. How do you whitelist me in case? No, you don't need that, St. Nicholas. Someone like Joe Rogan does. Yeah, you don't. I don't either. It's something that these big creators like Oversimplified or Joe Rogan, when they are massive, then usually they're so big that they have a separate company that takes care of sending copyright claims. And so that's why you need to be whitelisted by them. Otherwise, the company's going to do it. But with regular people like you and me, we don't need to do that. Thank you, Tyler Brownie, for supporting the stream. Exams don't test intelligence, they test retention. Yeah, you're right. Some exams, a certain level of intelligence as well, I think, but you're right. No worries, Nicholas. I mean, we all don't understand the freaking YouTube. We're all trying to figure out how the heck this thing works, since they change it all the time, right? They change it all the time. Hey, Wraith the Priest, good to have you in chat. Same with Qbandon. So yeah. Oh yeah, and I always say, welcome to the inner circle. Welcome, channel members. So any question, of course, feel free. And then after we do a little bit of chat, we'll check out this video with Dr. Tobias Capwell. That could be interesting to watch. Pretty good stream today, though. Very animated, lots of discussions, very varied, very much of a variety stream, I would say. Still funny to remember that YouTube started out as a dating site. Really evil, Black. I actually did not know that. I mean, I may have heard it at one point, but I had completely forgotten about it. That's insane. Did it? I mean, of course, YouTube is unrecognizable to how it used to be back in the day already. Heck, things are so different just 5 years ago. I feel like a dark angel every time you say, welcome to the inner circle. Sure. I never heard that. Yeah, I don't know. Yeah, same, Daniel. I didn't know that. I think I didn't know that, but I'm going to have this cheese. Thank you, Tyler Brownie, for becoming a member. Welcome to the inner circle of the round table, where all the knights become circumference. Considering all the cheese that I eat, I'm definitely going to become a circumference. But such is life, right? Am I right? I mean, who cares? I'm already married. I'm joking. By the way, I'm joking. You know, exercise. Absolutely. Exercise when I'm still having this cheese. If it means I need to do 3 push-ups afterwards, I'll do 3 push-ups. But I'm having the cheese. Talking about Dark Ages. How's Doom? How's the new Doom? Did you guys try it? Jimmy says the lion for the win. Which lion? The Pope? Daniel talked about Atheline X. Yeah, I couldn't remember his name, the name of the channel. That's right, last night. Now we're getting fat. Yeah, we're going to need some help from Jeff Cavalier. Evil Black, yes, that's where the old broadcast yourself slogan came from, seriously. It was so you could put yourself online, kind of the reverse of modern dating sites, but that's how it started. That's insane. I did not know that. And I've been a YouTuber for 13 years. 12 years, I always change that number, by the way. Is it 12 years? 13? I don't even know. I might check it now, so at least we know. Light 7'7", good to see you. Wife Cardio. Yeah, I watched a little, haven't played though. Oh, the Doom one? Yeah. Oh, 1 second, it's my dad. Let me see how he's doing. One moment. Si pronto? Sorry about that. 11 years? Okay. I thought it was longer. 11 years it is. Oh, the lion from the 40k, the Dark Angels. I did not know that. I'm not big in Warhammer 40k lore. So yeah. If you get to 1 billion subscribers, no one has 1 billion subscribers, mate. No one has that. I don't even know if I'm going to hit the million, to be honest, with all this unsubscription situation. But I'm confident that we'll find a way around it. I'm confident we'll figure it out. How's your dad tonight? He's okay. He's doing well. He said he wants to talk, so maybe I'll talk to him after I'm done with the stream. I'll do that. When people found out you could upload anything, it quickly went from a dating site to uploads of films and television shows. Sure. I mean, I can see logically how that evolved into what we have now. I can see it. But yeah. What do you guys think about the other platforms? What do you guys think of Rumble? Because people keep telling me about it. But I just don't know if I want to... I mean, right now, I'm honestly... The one platform that I'm trying to focus on a lot as a second one, apart from Patreon that I've had for years, is Twitch. I've been working a lot on building a community on Twitch, and it's going well. Massive shout out to anyone watching on Twitch right now. But yeah, people tell me Rumble and Kick. These are the two that I've been told about. I think Kick is mostly for streaming. What about... whereas I think Rumble does have regular videos, but I don't know anything about it. And I don't know, the idea of... I tried a few in the past. There was one called Odyssey, but it never really did anything. You say it's good, it's just small. I see, Jimmy, so probably less possible views, which probably leads to less possible subscribers, less possible revenue. But I don't know. I mean, it's always good to have... I used to have... There was another platform a few years ago, I don't remember what it's called, that I had mirrored my entire channel, but then the platform completely disappeared. It failed. I don't remember what it's called, but I'm sure one of you will remember it. there was a platform where you could upload videos similar to YouTube, and they said it was going to be similar, and then it nuked itself, it disappeared. Yeah. My first video, yeah, no, that is my first video, Nicholas, you're right, Pega. So yeah, the 24th of September 2013 is when I posted my first video. So basically in September we'll hit 12 years. So I wasn't wrong when I first said 12. In September we'll hit 12 years on the platform. Man, what a journey. Looking at Tau stuff feels like it could be its own IP. Sure, Tau always gave, I like Tau, I think they look cool. They always gave me the idea of, it's Warhammer 40k, but you're also trying to get people who like mecha and anime with massive robots. So it always felt like it's an expansion to try and get those type of nerds as well in. That's what I thought. Yeah. Rumble defied the Brazilian government, which is always nice to see, really. What was it, some kind of censorship situation? Oh yeah, I muted on purpose, John. I just noticed that. Yeah, I muted because I didn't know if my dad wanted to tell me something personal. I thought I wouldn't broadcast it. It's broadcast yourself, not broadcast your dad, I guess. I am gonna make a video collaboration with him though, because in our family we have a family history in the sense that his father, my granddad, he was a colonel major, if I remember correctly, in the army during World War II. And there is a whole family story, a whole situation that happened when he was in the army, and he was told he needed to join the fascist movement, and he declined, so he got arrested, and then the Nazi picked him up and brought him to Dachau in the concentration camp. So there is a whole family story. My dad knows it very well. And I thought, you know what, I should make a video about it, because this is an opportunity to speak a little bit about something historical, but from an insider perspective, from family history. And so I thought I could do that and have a little section on the whole video will be in English, but have a little section when I do maybe a bit of an interview with my dad, where I ask him in Italian with subtitles, where I ask him, hey, what did your father tell you about the experience there, or the war and that kind of situation, you know, having the freaking Nazis pick you up and take you to, you know, that kind of experience. So that could be, I thought, an interesting video. It's a little bit more high production than the videos that I've been posting lately, so it might take me a little while to produce, because I also want to speak about the history and do a little bit like documentary format. I might even do a beginning. It's a very good video idea. I think so too, Nicholas. Yeah, I was even considering filming the whole video in black and white to give it atmosphere. We'll see. Or maybe I could start it in color and then switch to black and white, something like that. I still don't know the creative feeling, but I wanted to do that. A little bit of family history. Tyler, speaking of family history, I believe one of my ancestors was aboard the Titanic. Really? Well, there you go. It's exactly like if I had a family member who was on board of Titanic, I would totally make a video about it, speak about the history, but give an insider perspective. And actually took some of the most famous photos of the ship. Really, Tyler, that's crazy. I like the idea of black and white, to be honest. Maybe not the entire video, but a section of the video would do it. Because at the end of the day, even if not everyone is going to like it as a creative choice, it's still a way for me to express an artistic aspect of it. And I think videos, the moment videos become content, and you just make them to make content for the content meal, it's when you lose a little bit of the magic. So at the end of the day, if I feel, ooh, that's kind of fun, let me do that, I think I should be able to do it. Just like when I did the debunking video the other day, when talking about about the channel Antiquities, World of Antiquities, I did the whole beginning with the green light, with the computers in the back, turn them on to create the feeling, and then the rewind. All of that is like creative. Maybe not everyone is going to like the style, but sometimes it's good to just express yourself. Talking about the channel World of Antiquity, we are going to have a live stream tomorrow together on his channel. He invited me. It's going to be me, him and a geologist, and we're going to discuss the buildings under the pyramids. So yeah, I mean, I have to admit it. I did debunk the guy because as I said on the video, I have nothing against him. It's nothing personal, but I do strongly disagree with his position on ancient Rome. Regardless, he was a good sport about it because he was cool with it, and he still wants to do collaborations together, and I think that's good. So I will let you know. I'll put a link on the community tab when we're about to go live on his channel, but it's gonna be, I think, around 3:30 Central Daylight Time. I believe he's on Eastern, but yeah. So I'm gonna participate to that live stream tomorrow on his channel, and so that's gonna happen. I'm gonna have to clean up the computer a bit because I have to make sure everything works correctly. You didn't really need to know that, but I don't know. I just speak sometimes. That's one thing you do as a creator. You know, sometimes you just say stuff. Great, it's nice to see drama with no bridges burned. Sure, just. Absolutely. Have you watched any of Italy Made Easy on YouTube? No? What is it? Is it language or is it culture? Let's see. And then, so, Evil Black says, Metatron on the subject of World War II. I highly recommend the comic Mouse. It's a very deep story based on the writer interviewing his father about his experience in a concentration camp. That's interesting. Yeah, I'll have to check it. Maybe for inspiration could be a good idea. The black and white for like some different portions of the videos would be great. I agree, John. About the only thing I know about my family is that both sides have been here since the revolutionary WAT. What? And my grandfather on my dad's side was a World War II B-24 bomber pilot. Man, a bomber pilot. Bomber pilot. How do you pronounce it? Bomber or bomber? Bomber. Maybe it's bomber. I don't know. You guys tell me. Metatron, maybe it's a trap. Well, yeah, if it's a trap, I'll leave. Simple as that. I don't think so. But I know you're trolling, Raphael, but yeah. Have you yet seen some of both? Mainly language teaching, I see. Bomber. Yeah, so it's Bomer. No, it's not Bomer. Bomb. Yeah, exactly. Bomber. Okay, cool. I thought so. Because naturally I would feel like pronouncing the B, because in Italian we pronounce everything. But I thought maybe not in English. Yeah, the B is silent. I thought so. Bomber. Yeah, cool. No B at the end. Cool. Yeah, I guess the first B is not silent. Otherwise it would be Homer. Homer Simpson. In American accent as well? I would imagine so, yeah. I think usually when it comes to these silent sounds, it's not a matter of regional variety. These usually are a matter of native or non-native. Yeah, the second B sound. No, I know, of course. It's not Homer Simpson. Oh yeah, I know the 40k's got incredible lore. It's just that I never really was into it, but I should get into it. I've been enjoying the game, the strategy game Gladius, Warhammer 40k Gladius. It's pretty good. In fact, I do want to stream it one of these nights. We could do like, yeah, it's a good game. $40k lore is so deep, be careful, sure. I don't know anything about 40k. The things I mean, I do like Eldari. I like the Eldari. I think they look great. They're my favorite faction. And then when I play Gladius, I enjoy playing the Ultramarines, Space Marines, sorry, because I like that you only have to worry about one single base. So it kind of simplifies it. So if I'm playing a game but I want to relax, that's the faction I enjoy playing the most. I would need to do a full analysis for if we want to be the exact reasons for Napoleon's defeat. It would need an analysis rather than an improvised answer during a live stream. But it is a very nice question, Tyler, for sure. Usually it's a little outside, and Napoleonic warfare is a little outside what I usually talk about. But I did notice that Oversimplified has got a video on Napoleon. And so it will be interesting, I think, to perhaps react to that one first, one of these days. see how that goes, and if people enjoy it. I only made one video on Napoleonic cannons, I think I did at one point, and it didn't do well, unfortunately, on the channel, which is why I was like, okay, maybe it's not a topic I can tackle that much. But maybe if I react to a very popular channel like Oversimplified, perhaps that could do well. And then if it does well, perhaps we could make the occasional video about it and keep testing the waters. Man, let me tell you, all this strategizing annoys me so much, but it is what it is. Yeah. You need to play Dawn of War if you want to get into 40k. It's so good. I see Dark Striker. Thank you for the suggestion. Thank you for the suggestion. And how about we watch a little while I answer chat, because I will continue to read chat, of course. How about we have a look at this Tobias Capwell situation. Sorry, I'm trying to move. Yeah, okay, I moved that one there. And there you go. Yeah, let's have a look. Do you have an interest in the Horus Heresy? I don't know what it is. Or just modern stuff. I'm not sure really. Horus Heresy. I wouldn't know. Ultramarines is correct if you're talking about Robert Gilman's Legion from Ultramar. Oh, I see. Man, you guys rock on these things. I know Nicholas is very experienced with this sort of lore, but you guys seem to know a lot. Ultramarines equals Romans, White Scars, Mongols, really. So they are kind of based on several cultures on Earth. Makes sense, because even fantasy is very much like that. Although they did something that absolutely puts it into the fantasy realm. They took Britannia and they mixed England and France. England and France together. Could you imagine that? Because the knights sound French, and then they're like for the lady, let's go forward. That's how the French knights sound in the video games with Britannia, right? Les attaques, les infidèles, les infidèles, les attaques. That's how they sound. And then you click on the men at arms, and they're like, "All right, sir, what would you like her to do? All right, it's very nice." That's what they sound like. I'm like, how are you from the same place? How are you from the same place? But I love it. The only place where English and French get along is high fantasy. I mean, that alone is what it is. What have we got here?
This is Toby Capwell, curator, author, historical advisor, and all-round expert on historical arms and armor. And I'm your host, Dave Jewett, and we are back in Bohemia to check out more of the incredible Kingdom Come Deliverance 2.
So this is Jan Žižka.
Nice shirt.
Yeah. Jan Žižka is like a Czech national hero. Hugely, hugely important figure, but like a lot of medieval people, there are gaps in what we know about his life. And in this period of the game, in the first decade...
Okay, let's check this. I'm not a huge fan of the Viking helmet in the back that looks like something that you can buy for $20. Not trying to shame anyone, but this is Toby Capwell. At least something from a museum. The gauntlet looks nice. What do you guys think of the Hound Skull? It's not too bad. Doesn't look too bad. Doesn't look too cheap. This one actually looks kind of nice. I like the protruding eyes. These seem to be well. It's based on the one in... I think this is based on the one you find at the museum where he works in London. Is that right? Channel is good? Okay, good. I'll have to start watching it more. I only don't get the English-French thing, weren't they super interconnected culturally? Well, yeah, but they went through a war for over 100 years. So there is that. That's the beef.
The 15th century, there's a lot we don't know about his life. So it's really clever of the game to...
It's very clever that they put the crossbowmen in that crossbow country. That's one thing that pissed me off about the original KCD Kingdom Come Deliverance game.
Put its story into that gap in the historical record.
We have more videos with Toby coming up very soon, including one covering Monster Hunter Wilds and the awesome Warhammer animations. All of those will be landing on our Patreon 1 week early, so for early access, extended editions, and so much more, be sure to check out our Patreon, link in the description below.
Check out their Patreon.
Impressive.
With that out of the way, make sure you like the video if you enjoy, and now I will throw it over to Toby.
Yeah, guys, it's a sign. It's a sign. It was a space marine right there. How did they know that we were speaking about this? It's destiny, guys. I need to get into some not the political commentator. We need to get into some of the Warhammer 40k lore, I guess. It's fate. Let's call it fate. It was okay, Raphael? Cool.
So that's the main character here?
No, this is the main character pulling up on his right.
Oh, right. Okay.
The guy who's in the more resplendent armor is your lord, Lord Hans Capon.
There's a nice relationship between the two of them. There's a nice sense that they belong together, but you can immediately see the status relationship of one of them being higher ranking than the other.
Yeah, Henry, you're the role of bodyguard, advisor, good old chum, and that's your horse Pebbles.
Oh, nice. Nice looking horse. This immediately, right from the beginning of the game, shows you that they've thought a lot about not just the accuracy of the equipment, but also the range of quality and the way armor of slightly different status would be set up and what the overall effect would be. And how do you use all of that, the horse equipment, the armor, the clothing, to tell the story and to express the characters. They need to tell you here who is the lord, who's the nobleman, who is the retainer, or the bodyguard. The lord is Armigerus.
Yeah, heraldry is nice. And a horse dressed to impress. A horse dressed to impress, guys. Well, yeah, I mean, even the armor, you drew a knight dressed to impress. That's how it was. Here's a question for you. Atlantis, pure fiction, morality, tale, or some basis in historical fact? Yeah, Atlantis is a big one. Who knows? My first guess would be that it is mythology, but we don't know if there was at one point an area that submerged, and maybe that I don't see any problem in considering that as a possible inspiration to a lot of myths. In fact, are based on it's an interpretation of something that did happen. So difficult to say, really. Horses are cool. I agree, Nicholas.
That means he's a knight. He's someone who is legally entitled to display a personal coat of arms, where you essentially write your name in colors and images on your gear, on your horse, on your shield, whatever.
Yeah.
But that heraldry, that coat of arms, is personal. You can't just start plastering it all over everybody. Nobody else can wear your coat of arms. But they haven't done, it's easy to mistake heraldry for team colors or, football.
Yeah, in fact, the rules for the colors of heraldry are quite complicated, and you're told which colors you're not supposed to mix and which colors you can mix. Sometimes I think in general, it's been a while since I last reviewed it, but I think you're not supposed to mix gold and silver because they're both considered metallic. So usually you want to have either colors that are non-metallic or one metallic and a non-metallic. The exception to that would be the Templar Order, because I think that they did mix precisely gold and silver. So you do have exceptions, and even though there are rules, they're not always followed in heraldry, but heraldry is something that if you have got time to spend, I'm not going to say waste, but spend, that's something that can get quite deep. So yeah, Pope is mythology. How is the Pope mythology? It's just standing right there. The version you know is pretty much 100% a parable. Oh, I see, like you mean the Atlantis. I see, yeah. This is where the expression FU and the horse you rode on, probably, Jimmy, yeah. Dogs are not great fans of dog clothes, so perhaps it's the same for horses. Maybe, but I mean, I've never really seen a horse complain as much as dogs would, so maybe horses are more like, meh, whatever. Particularly if they're very well trained. I mean, at the end of the day, they're getting used to having a guy in plate armor on top of them. What's a little barding? Yeah. You prefer when masters wear X and all his hair, its warriors have it. I see. Then maybe you're more into the Japanese way of dealing with heraldry, I guess.
Kit or something. And it doesn't work like that at all. It's saying who you are in a very specific way.
Halo.
But there's a reference to the relationship here because his breastplate, his body armor is covered with a material that's basically the same color as the Lord's field of his coat of arms. So there's a nice little sense of a relationship there and a team mark, which is also then used to color the other soldiers in different ways without misusing the coat of arms.
We are talking and engaging, having fun with Chat Nova, and at the same time, we're listening to Dr. Capwell. I'm not trying to nitpick. I'm actually genuinely asking, but why do you think we feel the need to specify body armor like he did now, as opposed to what? Spirit armor? Oxygen armor? I don't know, body. Yeah, because I mean, that's where the armor goes, on the body. Tank armor, I guess, from a modern perspective, you could not even say tank, an armor division. Usually armor is tanks from a modern perspective. It's just so... I don't think it's wrong. I think it's just... for a moment, when he said body armor, it just came to my mind. Body armor, body as opposed to non-body armor? Head armor, but the head is still part of the body, mate. That's what I'm trying to say. So, body armor, there's nothing wrong with it. Of course, it's correct. You say armor for the torso, but then again, it's all body. This is my body. The body's everything. Spiritual, I guess. Put on the armor of God, am I right? There you go. I'm just saying, I mean, it's nothing wrong with it. In fact, it even sounds nice. Body armor, yeah, boom, body armor. Isn't it like the name of a drink? Protein drink here in the US? Body armor. I think it sounds good. Existential armor, yeah, there you go. Extremely armor like a gauntlet. Yeah. Oh, extremity armor. Yeah, I'm just saying, I don't know, body, it's your language, guys, whatever you like.
That's really nice. And the Lord's armor is a better quality than the bodyguards. Although the bodyguards' equipment is perfectly fine, it's not the absolute best.
Yeah.
And all of this stuff kind of works nicely on your imagination.
Oh, I hope they've got a good physician at this castle. Or at least a barber.
After that scene where
I don't need a barber. Haven't been in 12 years. No, I'm joking. No, actually, 6 years since I last cut my hair. 6.
you were sparring with your lord, you take a bath in the nearby pond and bandits set upon your party, kill your party, you're stranded wearing nothing but your underwear, basically. You get injured, you have to flee, you flee into the woods, escape, and some healing woman from the woods, some herbalist, takes you in, helps you recover, but you are just wearing rags at this point. And the plot is you're supposed to be delivering a message to another lord. So you try to go to the castle where the lord resides, but you don't exactly look like a lord and his retainer anymore. And that's basically the opening to the rest of the game. You need to find more resources, more armor, money, find someone who will take you in as a lord, convince someone that you're a lord. But before all that, the first time you meet someone of some status or visit a castle, this is what happens. So this is after you.
Okay, very fun. True Spartan Metatron, I guess. Nova, maybe it's to differentiate human armor from horse armor or something. I love that we're trying to figure this out. Then again, though, I'm gonna still play devil's advocate here, because a horse also has a body, so his armor is body armor. 10,000 members and Metatron will shave his head. Never, but I'll shave my face. For 10,000 members, I'll shave my beard. Trotsky Castle was beautiful. Yeah, they did an awesome job rebuilding it in the game. In general, I would say the architecture is probably the thing they did the best in both KCD. If I had to pick one, architecture.
You've lost your party, lost all of your equipment, all of your armor, all of your money, everything.
It's formidable when you're not being invited in.
That's really the major plot point. No, we don't know who you are, and now you're covered in shit. This goes to what you were saying, I guess, about the heraldry. Without that, there's no pictures of Handscape on. They won't know who he is.
Or any way of, it's a profoundly visual culture. You have to look like who you are. It's an expectation of that. And this is a nice inversion of that. They've shown you what he usually looks like as a knight, but to show what happens when all of that gets taken away is really clever, because the story is reinforcing the underpinnings of the game, that you have to get this gear to be who you are. Without the gear, you're nothing, you're nobody. And, you know, a knight is a function of his armor, his weapons, his martial skills.
Yeah, same for men at arms. In fact, that's a very good point. Look how deeply he can see. I mean, this is Dr. Tobias Kappel we're talking about. No, John Sheffy, I would never allow other people to choose the length of my hair, to be honest. At that point, we feel too controlling. And we don't say human armor, although now I kind of want to start saying that. You could. If they looked like a noble or lord, they were a noble or lord. Sort of. Well, not exactly, but yeah. I mean, at the end of the day, a lot of men-at-arms looked and fought exactly like a knight. So in iconography, if I show you a random piece of iconography with knights in full plate armor, or even mail and great helm charging during a battle, and I would ask you, which one are the knights, you would point to the people, and then maybe only 2 are actually titled, and the rest are men-at-arms who are fighting in the manner of the knight, but technically they're not knights. So with men-at-arms, this does happen a lot. Doesn't that describe our entire species? Without our tools, we're super weak and vulnerable. Yeah, sure. I mean, humans have this problem. We don't have the same level of like adaptability as animals do. The rest of the animal kingdom, I mean, like everyday wear. Yeah, sure. In a way, but I think in the medieval period, OG, it would be a lot more, because the reason why you invest so much into armor and like gilding and all the different very crazy pageantry and heraldry is not just to show off your status so that people on your side see how rich, powerful and successful you are, and then like if there is someone who is a count, a duke, they will notice you and they'll be like, man, this guy, who's that guy? That's one of the reasons. The other reasons is because you want your foe to see how rich and successful you are. Why do you want that? Because on the medieval field of battle, that acts as a life insurance. Because if they see a regular man-at-arm with some off-the-shelf armor, they'll kill you. But if they see a very rich guy, like this guy's gilded, it's got incredible armor, don't kill him. We can get a ransom. Which means people will actually have a harder time fighting you because they can't kill you, but you can kill them. But even if you lose, they have a reason not to eliminate you. Send you back to your family, get the money, boom, life insurance. So that's why medieval armor gets extreme sometimes in how, like the money that they would spend. Basically a full set of armor and a horse well barded, it's like a sports car today. Be like the price of a freaking Ferrari. If it's like super high quality, I'm talking. Not to mention the quality of the heat treatment for defense purposes. I mean, we can go really deep on this, but I'm sure Tobias Kappel will do a much better job than me. What kind of armor did Joan of Arc wear? Full plate. So yeah, basically the same as a guy. It's just probably with proportions for a 16-year-old girl, but still tight at the waist. I think it's like an Italian set for the way it looks. It looks like an asymmetrical Northern Italian style set for what I see in iconography, usually, if I'm not wrong.
Skills, his horse. And when you take all of that away, he's just a person.
Yeah.
That's an extraordinary way to open the game, actually.
Maybe the way he speaks would be still recognizable as a member of the upper echelon of society, or his ability to read and write. These would still be telltales.
Your deeds and your abilities will speak to who you are as well, but it takes an awful lot to override the lack of the appropriate appearance.
Mm-hmm.
Hans, look at me. Hans!
You get very bloody throughout this game.
Yeah, no, but that's a real thing. It's a real thing, but it's a really hard issue to deal with in the visual media because, you know, the reality of it is pretty bloody. But in a kind of structured production or presentation, often if you put too much blood on, it just starts looking like Monty Python or something.
Just a flesh wound.
And real blood, when it's spattered onto polished steel, can look really bright red and kind of fake. It's not what people expect blood to look like sometimes. So there's all kinds of inherent problems with portraying the reality of this when the expectation is kind of uninformed somehow, or when there are other existing Monty Python media tropes.
All right, we'll call it a draw.
So I mean, I see they've gone with it, but it seems like they're pulling it off.
That was such a weird way to move the mace right there, but hey, I searched full plate armor on Google Images and one of your videos popped up. Yeah, I mean, sure. I hope it's not too old. Yes, was like an unofficial thing for nobles to be ransomed. Yeah, of course, I'm not saying it's guaranteed, but it still did happen. Then there are situations in which the noble... But then again, if you look, even the most detrimental battle, the Battle of Agincourt, or Agincourt, which was the complete, utter failure of full plate cavalry, and they were shot like crazy from the English, the French knights. It still is one of the battles with the highest number of prisoners. Now, technically, that tells us the plate worked, the armor worked, and it also tells us that a lot of these people, once they actually did reach where they needed to reach, they still weren't killed off. Unfortunately, we know then what happened with the prisoners. I still believe, though, that if you're a medieval man and you capture someone that you can make a lot of money off, why wouldn't you ransom him? Why not? So, yeah.
Pretty successfully.
Well, even outside of combat, if you're covered in gore or mud or a combination of both, people out in the world will respond to you differently.
Oh, of course.
People might fear you because you look so hellish. But if you're shiny and resplendent, they might perceive you as more noble. It can be advantageous to go to a water trough and wash all of this viscera off you because people will respond to you differently.
There are also several 14th and 15th century texts that specifically describe the mirror polished surfaces of the armor as being frightening.
Man, that's Excalibur, isn't it? I love that movie.
It's scary to see this glittering being. It's like an alien shining with this kind of divine radiance.
Rather than alien, I would say an angel. Probably from the medieval perspective, they would have seen it like as an angelic thing, yeah.
Radiance. A couple of texts I've worked on my most recent book where it specifically says the English love polishing their armor because they believe it makes them more frightening to their enemies. Wow. So, it's also interesting to try and understand how people at the time saw it. Yes, it's beautiful.
Absolutely. The period psychology, guys.
Beautiful, but it can also be terrible and scary at the same time.
We'll surely get a nice
same as today, Raphael, exactly. That's what I thought. The shields look really good.
This is the introduction to Jan Žižka.
Oh, great. I wish they hadn't uncovered his throat there. I know he has to do this big dramatic scene and he has to be able to speak, but his aventail should be covering his chin and throat. Yeah. You should never see a bare throat. If you see a bare throat on armor, there's seriously something wrong. So this is Jan Žižka.
Yeah, you don't know it yet, but yes, this character is Jan Žižka.
That's amazingly interesting because Jan Žižka is like a Czech national hero, incredibly famous, in...
Look at that mustache. Makes sense, everyone was religious, so would have looked like they were blessed shiny warriors. Absolutely, OG, yeah.
Eastern Europe, of course, he was a Hussite, a follower of Jan Hus in this sort of proto-Reformation movement in the early 15th century. Hugely important figure, but like a lot of medieval people, there are gaps in what we know about his life. And in this period of the game, in the first decade of the 15th century, there's a lot we don't know about his life. He was living a kind of Robin Hood sort of existence. He does seem to have been a bandit and kind of a soldier for hire in this exact period. But it's a kind of a black hole in his biography. So it's really clever of the game to put its story into that gap.
Man, look at that breastplate. I love how deeply he goes. I also like that finally the freaking breastplate cuts at above the navel as it should, because oftentimes in medieval games you see these breastplates that go all the way down to modern day jeans belt, which you wouldn't be able to bend because differently from our shirts, this is solid metal. So the moment you have a breastplate that reaches your modern day jeans belt and then you try and bend, it's not gonna bend, and so it's gonna choke you. It's not a nice feeling. So that's why breastplates would usually cut above the navel, because that's where you bend. And then as you go forward in the 15th century, then this guy, to be honest, He's a little underprotected, but I guess he's got mail underneath. But normally in this period, you would have something called a fold and a placard, which would then basically, it's you most of you already know for sure. But when you, this is the breastplate, this is another plate called the placard, and they will go one on top of the other. So when you do bend, this happens, and then you can move. Articulation in armor is such a fascinating topic. Anyways, let me see. We probably have to. We're kind of halfway through. I'm gonna have to, I guess, continue it tomorrow. I'm gonna open right now. 1 second. There you go. I'm gonna open the comments back up, but I am kind of towards the end of the stream now because I mean, my dad did say he wanted to talk, so I'm gonna have to see. Hopefully, it's no problem. Usually, doesn't say it like that. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Muppet. Ah, the last one was Nicholas. Look at that. Who's the first one? Kay, Thunderwing. Good. Welcome back. Welcome back, guys. So yeah, freedom. There we go. But thank you so much, anyone joining, of course, the channel. Do remember that tomorrow, because it's Friday, the entire live stream is dedicated to members. So anyone who has become a member, don't forget about tomorrow. And it's going to be great. Thank you. Yeah, so for sure. And so that's going to happen. But yeah, no, it was good. It was a good stream. It was a good stream. So I'm going to just continue chatting a little bit until my dad calls. When my dad calls, then I think I'll call it a night with a live stream. And then after I finish talking to my dad, then I'll go have dinner with the wife. It's going to be good. I can breathe, says Essel. Fair? Yeah, we can do that. Also because it's possible that he fell asleep, and if he fell asleep, he's not going to call, and then we can continue a little longer. So that's the idea. But then, I think tonight I'd like to watch something. We've been watching a TV series called Pinewood, which has been pretty fun. So there is that. Absolutely, Addy. Thank you. One day I shall enter the inner circle. I'm going to go to sleep peacefully now. That's fantastic. Looking forward to see you as a channel member, mate. Thank you so much. I still very much appreciate the subscription, the regular subscription, though, because those are going down, as I was saying. In fact, let me refresh one more time. Let's see. From 824 to 818, we lost another 6 subscribers. Thank you guys for regardless for the people that are subscribing, because I think if it wasn't for you subscribing back, yeah, it would have been even lower. But that's what's happening right now. Hopefully, it's just a little moment that we need to kind of focus and see what happens. Got the first one in, even though an ad was running Man Thunderwing. That was pretty good. Well executed. It's clearly not right. Tell me about it. Tell me about it. It is suspicious. It's like the number of subscribers just keeps going down. I don't know why. And we'll see. I think, as I say, I'll make a video one of these days to discuss it with the community, let people know, because I also want the subscribers to know why I'm becoming a little more pushy than usual when it comes to please subscribe, please subscribe. There is a reason. And that's the reason, just trying to counter it. We gotta fight this one all the way up to 1 million. We need to fight it. Yeah, I ran to the keyboard. Did you? Screen. I hope the 1 million is coming, but right now it's going backwards. So unless we find a way to, I don't know, maybe if a couple of videos did really well, maybe. You haven't even posted anything even super controversial recently. I agree, but then again, there is no reason that you should be on a sudden downturn. Yeah, I have no idea, mate. I think making a video about it would be a good idea. I think so too, Nova. It might help you find other creators that are struggling with this too. Yeah, or maybe sometimes even just the regular viewers, you know, even if you're not a creator, sometimes viewers can see, because, you know, tunnel vision. Sometimes people that don't make content creation their life, they can have an idea, they can have a perspective, they could say, you know, it could be this, and I'm like, you know what, I didn't think of that. So that can happen. And yeah, that's why I kind of want to make a video about it at one point. I'm not a huge fan of videos like this. Oh, everything is going down again, because I understand they feel like a little whiny, but at the same time, I have to provide. I have to figure out a solution. And so if there is something is not working, I need to understand what mechanical aspect of content creation and algorithmic, whatever the heck it is causing this. Yeah, so that's the situation. Yeah. Could that be the gift subscription expiring? No, it's regular subscribers. It's gift are called memberships. Yeah, they're called subscribers on Twitch, that ones, but this is different. So they are counted differently. They're counted differently. It's regular. In fact, members are going up. That's going very well. Right now, the growth, and I think it's because of the live streams, and those are going up. So luckily, from a revenue perspective, thanks to you members, things are going up. But regular subscribers of the channel continuously going down every single day. I lose 100 to 150. So it's one of those things you want to talk about. Could all of those subscribers leaving have been bots? I hope so, Nova. If that's what it is, and some kind of bot purge, because it is true that if you look at every time you post a video, the first comments are bots. All the bots with either cleavage or a booty, those are clearly bots. So if that's something that they are doing due to the recent update, that now they are purging bots, then I don't care. But if, I don't know, it feels like, I hope that's not the case. That's what I'm saying. So, I mean, I do hope it's just bots, and I hope it's not. The reason why, though, is that it still feels strange is because if it just was bot clearing, but nothing was going weird with the actual growth, then I shouldn't see the number going down, because if you have 10,000 people a month joining the channel, even if 1,000 bots are removed, 2,000 bots are removed, you still see a net positive. Here we have a net negative, so there is no growth. And that's so strange. Never happened in 11, almost 12 years. But yeah, we'll try. We'll figure it out. We'll make a video about it so I can read comments. I have reached out to a few creators. I asked Shad, and he said that, yeah, his growth is in the negative right now. But he said it has been for a year, so maybe it's not the same situation. A few other creators have contacted me. Some said that they have been experiencing this, but others didn't mention it. So I don't know. We'll have to see. So it's a possibility of bots plus maybe people not being exposed to your channel. Maybe, who knows? Okay, Froggy style, no problem. Have a good one. Based Metatron, appreciate that, Froggy. Very much appreciated. Hey, we gained a subscriber. Great. We went to from 818 to 819. Someone subscribed back. That's nice. That's good. Good to see. Base Adatron. Yeah, so Shad said his growth is basically non-existent. But as I say, he said it's been like that for a year. So it's kind of a different situation. I mean, it might be the same thing and it just happened to me at a different stage, or the two things might be unrelated. It's very difficult to really know what's going on. But yeah, we'll see, I suppose. You have seen a decrease in bot presence? Well, that's good, Jose. I really do hope it's just a momentary bot purging. And you know how we can find out? Let's wait a few days, maybe a week, 2 weeks, and then let's see if growth goes back up. Because if that happens, then we can clearly say, you know what, it probably was a momentary bot purging. But if this continues like this for a month, for 2 months, and we see that now I have 970,000, so 10,000 people are gone. If that happens, then I guess it's something else. I'm glad you haven't been unsubscribed. Good to have you here, Sparkle. I appreciate that. Shad lost me at anti-woke Bologna. Bologna? I don't know what Bologna has to do with woke and anti-woke, to be honest. What, the city? Or the cold cut? I'm a little confused. Good night, Q Bandon on Twitch. Just checking also to see if my dad calls, you know. I'm typing just so he knows that just to check if he's awake. Oh, you don't have to check every day, Dreamer, but it actually, I appreciate if you do. Like, I feel bad because it feels like a chore. But yeah, do let me know though, since you're always on these streams. Do let me know if you get unsubscribed. That could be interesting to know. Oh yeah, he's here. All right, so I'm gonna respond. Tell him 1 second. Tell you goodbye, and then yeah, let's do that. One moment, please. Okay, guys, so have a good evening. Thank you very much. Gonna go talk to my father on the phone a little bit and then spend some time with the wife. Thank you so much for being here. I really, really appreciate your support, all the generosity. Have a great day, and I will see you tomorrow for the next post. Have a good one. Bye. Good night. Good night. Ciao, ciao, ciao. Bye on Twitch as well. Bye. Ciao, ciao.